Okay, we've said it before, but this time we really mean it. It's a must game. We're not kidding. The Argos and Riders are both on the precipice, in danger of falling off the mountain. But the trek to the top is not impossible. Austin and the Argos have not gone much past their base camp this year. He's helped his team cling to life. Mazzotti heads the expedition. And Don Wilson leads the defense with a terrible fear of falling. The Green Riders, fresh from a cliffhanger with Memphis and led by Jones, had better not look down. As the fortunes of Narcisse have escalated, so have those of his teammates. Jurison and the Green defense are keying for the final ascent. Ladies and gentlemen, go no further without a guide. Quick, someone get that guy some oxygen. Skydome dominates the shores of Lake Ontario. Inside, the building has not meant much as far as home field is concerned. Visitors have won here 4 of 5 times. And don't the Saskatchewan Roughriders hope the advantage is theirs tonight. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Skydome. I'm Scott Oak. The Argos and the Riders are fighting for the same playoff spot, so they're both in a must-win situation tonight. By the way, for keeping track of mentions of must-wins at home this evening, the telecast is only 90 seconds old. We've already said it about 6 times. I was up all night trying to think of a new way to say the Argos must win this game, and then it came to me. Why not leave it to Bob Obilovich?
Okay, guys, nap time's over. It's time to take the bull by the horns, the tiger by the tail, and the chicken by the... You get the idea. I know we're down, but we're not out. It ain't over until it's over. The fat lady isn't singing, and the towel hasn't been thrown in. The time is now, so let's get out there. And forget winning one for the Gipper. Let's just win one, okay?
Well, Obi's got a sense of humor. Then again, we shouldn't discount the possibility that he's serious. Chris Cuthbert and Dan Kepley will describe the proceedings in this absolutely, no doubt about it, have-to-win game, lest the world come to an end. How am I doing, Kep? Am I selling it?
Hey, I think you're doing pretty good. I tell you what, but Saskatchewan comes in here on a little bit of a roll. 3 out of the last 4 games have been a victory for them. And I got a guy named Warren Jones who played 60 hard minutes last week, put up 34 points against the tough Memphis defense. And Ray Elgard is back. 11 catches in the last 3 games.
And a couple of riders could dictate the fortunes of the Argos tonight. Ken Austin looked as good as he's been all year. Last week in San Antonio, Jeff Fairholm was sat down. They're still waiting for Fairholm to look like the Fairholm of old.
Yeah, from 88 to 93, when they were a combination in Saskatchewan, Ken Austin threw 53 touchdown passes to Jeff Fairholm. Where has that offense gone? 2 other games on the CFL schedule tonight at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas. Ticats meet the Texans. There's the Alamo Dome. That game's just beginning. We'll have video updates. In Baltimore, the Stallions can clinch a playoff spot against Shreveport. They kicked off there about a half an hour ago. On our BF Goodrich TA halftime report tonight, what's it take to get ready to play when you're a slave to bizarre rituals, and many players are? We'll meet a few of them. And we'll go to Winnipeg, where the Stamps play the Bombers tomorrow. Dave Sapunjas, the best receiver in the league, Canadian or American, will speak to us. And no weather to report at Skydome tonight as the roof is closed. We could make an issue out of the Argos record with the roof shut, but it's bad either way. Fact remains, though, Chris, that the Argos could move to within 2 of Saskatchewan and become a factor in the race for that playoff spot in the north with the win tonight.
Yes, complicating matters for Ray Yock, Scott, is the fact that after this game, they've got 5 very tough ones left. So Bob Obilovich knows they win tonight. They've got a couple against Winnipeg, and they are still very much a big part of the playoff picture in the North Division. Former Rider Terry Baker has kicked it off. We're underway at Skydome, and Aaron Ruffin has the football, one of the leading return men in the league this year, and Ruffin is going to outrun Terry Baker, but there are flags down. Well back inside the Saskatchewan 25-yard line. Ruffin has been explosive on kick returns all season long. Could have given his team a real spark here with the 74-yard return, but Jake Ireland is going to bring it back.
Just the kind of thing that you don't want to see happen initially, a mental mistake. Big plays like that negated by an illegal block.
In fact, Ray Yock has talked about Aaron Ruffin, who is a nickel back on defense, as maybe being his MVP this year.
First down.
Well, it's Scott Hendrickson, the left guard, called for the illegal block. Here's Warren Jones making his 9th start. Saskatchewan's 4-4 with Jones at the helm. And as you mentioned off the top, Kep, they've been on a roll of late, and a lot of it has to do with Warren Jones' maturity as the quarterback.
He really did, and I think last week against a very tough Memphis defense, he matured a lot.
And the first play from scrimmage out of the shotgun. Jones stands in there and has a wide open Dan Farthing up to the 43-yard line, and Farthing has a first down pickup of 21. Here's the Saskatchewan offense. Mike Anderson at center, playing his 200th consecutive game. That dates back to action in 1984. Offensive line played well last week, and Don Narcisse plays well every week. That receiving streak of 138 games now. Once again, Warren Jones out of the shotgun, and Narcisse is going to make it 139 games with a catch. His mom, Dorothy, was up from Port Arthur, Texas last week to see him play for the first time when he set the mark at Taylor Field. Jermaine Younger is the middle linebacker. There's the front four for the Toronto Argonauts. Steve Brannon getting another shot at the nose tackle position. Younger, his first start at middle linebacker. Ephesians Bartley was supposed to start the outside. Late scratch, so Maurice Kelly comes in. Ken Walcott, the safety, had a strong game against San Antonio, and Kelly was expected, kept to be an extra DB tonight. And
he was supposed to dress as the DI, but now he gets thrown into the fire.
Second and short, the give to Robert Mims, and he'll have the first down near midfield. The veteran Robert Mims, the fourth tailback this year for Saskatchewan. Roughriders have had some trouble replacing Mike Saunders. They thought they had the guy in Darren Joseph. He's hurt, and now Mims, a guy with a pretty good track record.
And they're very excited about Darren Joseph and his opportunity to be able to play, but all of a sudden they lose him to an injury. Now they're very lucky to be able to find a quality back in Robert Mims, who's been able to fill in very, very well.
Saskatchewan looking crisp on offense in their first series. This time they fake to Mims, and Jones on a roll. And he'll step out of bounds in front of Tommy Henry at the Argonaut 53. Gain of a couple for Warren Jones, who has pretty good rushing ability, averaging 6.7 yards a carry on the season.
Shows you the kind of athleticism that a guy like Warren Jones has at time. They're trying to run the screen, fake the counter dive and run the screen to Ray Elgard. Jeff Cummings just grabs Elgard and throws him to the ground. That forces Warren to have to run the ball outside, and he's got great foot speed, and he's able to elude some of the defenders.
2nd and 8 for Saskatchewan. Jones steps up, and a one-hopper, incomplete. Hard to say if that was intended for Farthing or Mims coming out of the backfield. In any event, it's third down for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Brent Matic comes in, and Jimmy Cunningham, the deep man for the Argonauts. And Bob Obilovich yesterday said he expected big things from his return teams tonight against Saskatchewan.
He just saw something on the film, and he felt that they had the ability to return a punt or a kickoff against these guys, and let's see if it can come to light.
Matic averaging 42.2 yards. He'll try to pin the Argos deep.
Hands are in.
Left footer. And it's going to bounce into the end zone. Cunningham letting it bounce in there. I think he forgot the rules. He played that as if he was back in the NFL, and now picks it up. And Jimmy Cunningham's got some room. Well, he lulled them to sleep and finally stepped up. Brent Matic got a piece of him. Yep, I think he thought that was a touchback, and then he brought it back all the way to midfield. Jimmy Cunningham has 374 all-purpose yards. He adds 46 more here, but Kep, I thought he forgot to play the football.
Well, I think Jimmy did forget initially to play the football, and then all of a sudden, the elevator got to the top floor, and the lights went off, and he said, wait a minute, I got to pick this thing up, or else that was the ploy that Coach Obi was talking about making something happen on his return unit.
Well, this guy made something happen last week in the second half against San Antonio. He led the Argos to 3 scoring drives in relief of Marvin Graves. He was 20 for 30, 244 yards, and a touchdown pass. And after the game, Bob Obilovich said that's the first time we've seen the Austin of old in an Argo uniform. Mike Clemens, big hole off the right side, and Clemens has a first down is stopped at the 38. Gary Rogers finally made the tackle for Saskatchewan, but that's a good start for the Argonauts with a 19-yard Mike Clemens run.
Watch to the right of your screen, number 98. That's LeGrant Robinson's going to come in very quickly, and that allows Mike Clemens to break the containment, get outside, and the only thing that's going to be able to stop him is the quick feet of a guy like Rogers on the tackle.
Good linebacking core for Saskatchewan. Here's Paul Mazzotti down to the 30-yard line, and Mazzotti close to 7 on the pickup. The offense for the Argonauts. Chris Yaskis, a former Rough Rider, on the offensive line, as they don't make any changes, although Pierre Verchevel is available for duty. Here's a change. Jeff Fairholm is back, and the Argonauts looking for better things from Jeff tonight.
And maybe for whatever reasons that he was set out last week, whether it was a physical reason, whether it was a mental reason, maybe that's a good thing for Jeff. He's going to come back with some purpose and show something to prove tonight.
Looking for a fresh start. Somebody got a quick start. LeBryant Robinson jumped offside, and play whistled down.
Ken Austin comes in with that stutter count again, and he caught the Saskatchewan rush in the neutral zone.
Offside, Saskatchewan, number 98. First down.
And the 5-yard penalty does give the Argonauts a first down. At the 26-yard line, LeBryant Robinson is one of the leaders on defense. Veteran at the end position. That good linebacking core. Ron Getz is the leader. Dave Van Bellingham, a former Argo, leads the secondary with 5 interceptions. They're going to stick to the ground. Stick to Mike Clemens down to the 20-yard line. And Pinball has 5.5 yards. Tim Edwards, the nose tackle out of Delaware State. Rookie up front. In fact, they've got 2 rookies up front.
Wait a minute, Chris. Is this the same Toronto team we've seen the past couple of weeks? They're rushing the ball, and they're rushing the ball with Pinball.
Yep, they rank 10th in the league rushing the football, averaging just 78 yards a game. But an encouraging start for the Argonauts. 2nd and 5. Austin looking for Clemens. Touchdown! There is a flag down in the backfield.
Bring it back. I think they're going to call holding.
Out. That's what Bobovilovich was looking for, though, getting Pinball Clemens downfield, and Austin had him wide open.
The thing that we talked about, let's listen to the call by Jake.
Holding. Toronto number 58. Repeat, 2nd down.
That's Chris Giaskis, the right guard, called for holding.
Pinball's going to waggle out of the back to the left of your screen. He's one-on-one against the nickel back. That's Aaron Ruffin. He makes a little wiggle, slides to the post. The ball is thrown perfectly, but to no avail, call back because of holding.
Aaron Ruffin in on 2nd and 15 as the extra back. They're going deep for Cunningham, and that's over everybody's head and brings up 3rd down. While the Argos' season of frustration continuing with points coming off the board as Clemens' touchdown wiped out. And now Terry Baker, who kicked for Saskatchewan from 87 through 90, comes on, and he'll attempt a 38-yarder.
Chris, but that's a good play selection by Ken Austin. When you've got a guy with the speed of Cunningham, you've got to do something early to make a defense start to respect that. It's going to open up all the underneath stuff. So that was a great play, a great call, even though it didn't work.
Mazzotti did a nice job of getting that down, and it just got in. Well, a little bank shot off the post for Terry Baker. So they get the Argo bounce there and have the lead.
Argos with the early lead at Skydome. Records don't bowl you over, but the standings underline why neither the Argos nor the Riders can afford to lose tonight. The Riders can't squander these points, not when they have Baltimore and Calgary twice each to finish the season. In the South, Baltimore looking for its 11th win tonight, and the Stallions could just about finish Shreveport's playoff hopes. 2 of the next 3, San Antonio, Birmingham, and Memphis, will make the playoffs in the South. Chris?
Well, Scott, both these teams coming off wins against Memphis, Saskatchewan last week. The Argos on July 29th. That's their last victory, trying to end this 7-game losing streak. As Ruffin brings it back, but doesn't reach the 30. The Argos look fired up. Just a 17-yard return. Sheldon Benoit with the tackle. Benoit, backup linebacker and a Toronto native out of Eastern Kentucky. Well, Warren Jones celebrating a birthday today. He's 29 years of age. Was a fine quarterback at Hawaii. Backed up Tracy Ham in Edmonton, Kent Austin in Saskatchewan, and Tommy Burgess. It didn't work in Winnipeg, but he's appeared to have won the starting job here. Robert Mims stopped right at the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard or two. Jeff Cummins with the stop.
Chris, but as you were just talking about, all of his career so far has been backup quarterbacks. And as Coach Ray Yawk said yesterday, the thing that's very important is that sometimes you get conditioned as an athlete to be a backup. Now it's up to him to really step up and to take charge and to be a leader out there as the starter.
Talked to Donald Narcisse before the game. They share an apartment, and Narcisse was saying hey, he's bringing the game film home now. He didn't do that when he was a backup. A lot more time put into this, and he's going to Narcisse, and they rule incomplete. Well, Narcisse stretched it out, tried to keep the feet down. Jones doesn't agree with the call, but not much of an argument from Narcisse.
The one thing that's very positive about that, even though the pass was called incomplete, was the fact how strong Warren Jones's arms look as he stood back in the pocket, threw the ball out there, and threw the ball with some velocity on the money to where he wanted to throw it.
46 yards, the first punt for Matic. The problem was Jimmy Cunningham returned it 46 yards.
From an old linebacker mentality thing, I still have a hard time calling a punter mad dog. Somewhere it just doesn't fit. No offense to you punters out there.
Hands in now, hands are in, hands.
Cunningham fields this one. Flags down. And Jimmy Cunningham worked his way across midfield. And young rookie Dwayne Provo out of St. Mary's was in on the tackle. A 15-yard return will be negated by the holding penalty. Two guys from St. Mary's on the football field tonight. Dwayne Provo is a native of North Preston, Nova Scotia. Noah Cantor of the Argos also from St. Mary's. And Ken Wolcott is a St. Mary's grad and a native of Sydney, Nova Scotia.
Shot on number 16. First down.
Maurice Kelly was called for holding. So back at the 45, the Argonauts with their second possession. We talked with Austin yesterday, and I think he was really encouraged what he saw in the second half, and he reminded us, hey, we did it without Jimmy Cunningham, who was ejected.
And also without Pointer, who went out with a concussion earlier in the game.
Out in the flat, and here's Jacques Climie with his first catch of the game, has a first down at the Saskatchewan 53. Bob Obilovich wanting to see more production out of the slot backs, Climie and Fairholm, both with 343 yards on the season coming in.
And he felt if I could get them both in the game, both in the lineup, and both moving, coming off the line of scrimmage at the snap of the ball, we got a chance to make something happen, and that's exactly what you're going to see. Those slot backs coming out, getting lateral movement down the line of scrimmage and toward the line of scrimmage to create.
Empty backfield intended for Mazzotti, and Vincent Donaldson in coverage for Saskatchewan. The hitman, Vincent Donaldson, on the corner out of Michigan State.
This is what he felt. Donaldson is one of the toughest man-on-man cover guys. The ball is thrown on the money. Mazzotti goes up, gets his hands on it, but Donaldson, with good concentration again, was able to strip the ball right out of Mazzotti's hands.
2nd and 10. Good protection, and there's the completion. Jacques Climie has another first down, and Ulmer had him by the shirt tail and finally gets him down. But Austin's got the Argos moving here in the first quarter, a pickup of 23.
Now, he's done it in a lot of ways. I think one case is that they've got Pinball being able to run the ball, so when they do a little play action, and then when they get into this shotgun, they've got those slot backs moving, guys like Climie, and also Jeff Fairholm's very excited about getting back in the lineup and personally want to take it on themselves to make something happen out there tonight.
Pretty good protection for Austin with the safety blitz applied by Van Bellingham. First down over the middle. Fairholm over his outstretched hand. Closest man to the ball was the safety Van Bellingham, and Ken Austin slow to get up. When we talked about the improved play last week, he said, I'm finally healthy, no more concern about the hamstring, the thumb, the back a little bit bruised up.
The back was giving him a lot of problems, but he's standing in the pocket. He's got the legs planted. and he takes a shot right on the kneecap, right on the shin, and you can see how that takes an effect on him. That's Troy Alexander that gets in there.
Yep, Edmonton native who grew up watching Dan Kepley play the game. Here's another completion, Jimmy Cunningham, and he dives over the 20. Should be close to another Argonaut first down. Ryan Randall working against Cunningham in coverage.
We didn't get a chance to see Cunningham. He started out his opening game against Hamilton. The one thing he did extremely well was return a 97-yard punt for a touchdown. He got thrown out of the ball game quite early down in San Antonio, but this guy played for 2 years at Howard University his senior year. 57 catches, 745 yards, 10 touchdowns, has the ability, obviously, to make the receptions, and then he knows what to do once he makes the catch as far as getting it into the end zone.
We asked Bob Obilovich if he was upset with Cunningham for being ejected last week, a kicking incident with Grady Cavness, and he said he talked to them, and then he went and watched the film. And apparently the Texans felt that Cunningham had supplied a crackback block early in the game, and they got so upset they really went out to beat him up. And Obilovich felt that the block was legal, but maybe the tactics of the Texans wasn't. And here's a third down gamble, and Austin will move the yardsticks. But after reviewing the film, he wasn't as quick to condemn Cunningham.
Well, it always looks good on the second time when you have the luxury of looking at a film and making that decision. But in a crucial game, and a game where you need to win, obviously, as we keep saying about both of these teams, you have to be disciplined. Maintain your discipline, because the biggest thing that you can do to hurt another ball club, score touchdowns, catch passes, do the things that you're supposed to do.
Gary Rogers comes out for the extra deep back, and again, Roughriders moving early. Were they drawn off by a moving offensive lineman? Doesn't look like it. Tim Edwards' reaction told it was offside, and Robinson was on the move too.
Offside. Saskatchewan, number 98. Still first down.
You know, Kep, they like the rookies that they've got on the line, but it's tough to replace. Gary Lewis, what a great veteran he was, one of the quietest stars the CFL's ever had.
And you can see now it changes the style of a guy like Bobby Jurison and the way he plays. Now Jurison is the guy that gets the double team, and they single block on the rookies.
Pitch to pinball on 1st and 5, and he's down to the 10-yard line. Close to 3. And Edwards in on the tackle. Well, in the first series, they established a bit of a running game with Mike Clemens. And Ken Austin has mixed it up nicely in this first quarter. 3:36 to go, and the Argos with a 3-0 lead.
Last week in the fourth quarter, I saw Michael Clemens running as hard as I have ever seen him run, up against a very tough defense. A lot of guys, most of the people, are a lot bigger and faster than he is, and he was lowering his shoulder and trying to run over people with a lot of determination. It's just something that really uplifted this ball club.
Brannon and Birch and the Elephant team on. Cummins in motion. That's a load, and Clemens up the middle. And he looks like he'll be short. I don't know, Kep. Cummins in motion. Maybe he could run a pattern out of there. The big defensive end.
I'll tell you what, it's 6'6", 270. That is a load when it gets a couple of steps going toward the line of scrimmage.
Well, we've already got some heated words down there. John Terry of the Argos. Cummins comes up smiling, though. It's 3rd and still a yard to go, and
Coach Obilovich said, I like this Cummins kid. He's got some fire in him. He's got an attitude about him.
Clemens, he'll have the first down at the 5-yard line. Dale Joseph made the tackle, but the Argos drive continues. It'll be 1st and goal.
Short yardage defense, everybody's going to pinch in. Now you've got to come hard off the corner. Dale Joseph doesn't get up there. He doesn't get in the backfield and able to allow himself to make that tackle. Michael Clemens' momentum takes him past the first down marker. A big first down for the Toronto offense.
This Saskatchewan defense has been stingy of late.
I'll get out of your way.
Allowing 7 touchdowns in the last 5 games, but the Argos threatening here. 4 receivers right, but it's Clements on the option, racing for the end zone, touchdown! loaded up the right side, but Clements went left and outran Aaron Ruffin to the end zone.
He does a good job right here. Now, there's Pinball. He's going to come down the line of scrimmage, and as he comes down, Aaron Ruffin is going to be the guy they're going to take a look at. Pinball just takes one little stutter step, just enough to make Ruffin stop in his track, and then that great acceleration, and he ran toward the corner and got it in the end zone.
Second touchdown in as many weeks for Clements on the ground. His first 2 of the season, and the Argos with a 10-point lead.
I think that
Mike Clements had 36 yards rushing last week against San Antonio, already 38 tonight, and the first major score of the game.
Aaron Ruffin was very slow to get there, but all of a sudden, number 98, LeBrant Robinson, showed very quickly, but not before Ken Austin had enough time. Pitch it back. Clements does it on. You get him out there, open ground, one-on-one. He's very tough to bring down, and scored the major.
So the Roughriders in a hole as Elbert Turner tripped up as he crossed the 25-yard line. And again, Sheldon Benoit. First man down, 14-yard return for Turner as we join Scott.
Returns are in from the Alamo Dome. David Archer to Kittrick Taylor. This will be a 10-yard touchdown pass for a 7-0 San Antonio lead. The points came the result of a turnover. About 5 plays earlier, Jason Wallace picked off an Anthony Cavillo pass. So it's 7-0 San Antonio. In Baltimore, Stallions lead Shreveport 15-0.
And Baltimore would try to take a stranglehold on that Southern Division as Donald Narcisse with the catch, but that's a big loss back at the 18-yard line.
Take a look at the catch. The catch is the ball is thrown way behind it, and it's a tough throw for Narcisse to have to catch. He does make the catch. The thing I'm concerned about, I guess, when you take a look at Warren Jones, he's done nothing to really slow this defense up as far as running the ball inside to try to buy a little extra time. Now all they do is when he steps back in that 3-step drop, throws it out there, all they do is become football players and react.
2nd and 17, and Jones throwing it downfield. There's Turner, and he has the catch at the 45. That's a big second down conversion. And that's something that Bob Obilovich talked about last week going into the game against San Antonio. They've been killed by second and long plays all season long.
They really have. The first and 10 production has been very dismal in the sense that they get second and long. Defenses have been putting a lot of heat on them, forcing guys to have to throw some things out there. But now they get a chance to try to make some things happen, and they need that man-to-man coverage in the backfield. They didn't get it on the last play.
Gain of 26 for Turner, and now they give it to Mims. And Robert Mims picking his way close to another first down. Not a guy with great foot speed, but he always finds the hole, and he's a tough guy to lug down. Robert Mims, who back in 1991 had over 1,700 yards rushing to lead the Canadian Football League.
That same year, he led the CFL in yards from scrimmage with 22.07. Terrific guy that's had some great years in this league. It's a matter of now, in 1995, can he come up and have another one?
Good lead block there by Dan Payne, and Ray Yock enthused about his offensive line last week in the win over Memphis, because Memphis may have the toughest front four in the league, but they did a great job on them.
Like I say, when you play against some of the best in the business and some of the better athletes, and then you can put 34 points up against that very tough type of defense, you have to gain some confidence, and I think that has been a very good builder for this whole team, both offensively and defensively.
Well, this is an old Don Matthews scatter formation. 4 men in the eye, and now Turner and Narcisse go in motion on 2nd and short, and they're going to toss it out of the backfield to Bruce Boyko, who lost his footing, and the ball sailed over his head on what is the final play of the first quarter. It was a good one for the Argonauts, who scored a field goal and a Mike Clements touchdown for a 10-0 lead. Chris Cuthbert, Danny Kepley, Scott Oakes, and the CFL on CBC crew at Skydome in Toronto, where the Argonauts have a 10-0 first quarter lead, and we start the second quarter with a third down play by Saskatchewan, third and about a foot for Warren Jones and company. And Jones will plunge for the first down. Numbers for the first quarter. And 40 yards rushing for the Argonauts, one of the keys, and they had the football for over 8 minutes.
Some of the things that they have really been trying to establish but haven't in the last 7 games, a rushing game and sustain some possession drives, make some first downs. They did that in the first quarter.
And Pinball had 38 of the 40 yards in that first quarter. Now Saskatchewan first down from just inside Toronto territory. Jones had to hurry that football, and it's over the head of Ray Elgard. First pass they've been intended for Elgard tonight. Jones thought he was interfered on the play. Had a chat with Ray yesterday, encouraged by the last few weeks, and you mentioned that fullback experiment didn't work, but Elgard back in familiar territory, doing what he does the best.
4 catches for 85 yards last week, and again, a couple of catches, 7 catches the week before, 2 catches and 2 touchdowns the week before that. Hopefully Ray's starting to feel more comfortable getting back to where Ray belongs.
2nd and 10. Jones in the flat has Narcisse out of bounds. And Tommy Henry on the coverage, and he forced him out shy of the first down marker. And depending on the spot, looks like they'll be close to 2 yards short.
Narcisse baits him to think that Henry is going to take him deep, but then all of a sudden he comes back. He did not get a very good spot as Henry closed very quickly on the throw and was able to make a good solid tackle and stop Narcisse about 2 yards short of the first down.
Ray Yock conferring with his quarterback. Matic is in on 3rd and 2. And Cunningham, the lone man, back. Argos have had 2 good punt returns so far. Not a great kick. And Cunningham on the bounce. Running backwards. And if he can get outside, he's got a lot of real estate. Jimmy Cunningham with a wall in front and does the high hurdles into the Argo bench. Tell you what, Kemp, I bet Bob Obilovich's heart skipped a beat or two, but Cunningham explosive and some tempers exploding at the Argo bench. Dwayne Provo with the late hit. And once again, Cunningham matching Brent Matich's punt and doing even better. A 32-yard punt, a 34-yard Cunningham return.
Well, Matic is trying to do the proper thing. He's kicking the ball between the numbers and the out-of-bounds marker. But Cunningham just has tremendous speed. Look at the depth and the yardage that he loses to get back around to the wall, and then he cuts the jets on and makes some personal one-on-one effort. Hurdles, guys. And here's some of the end of the play that we're going to see. Matic gets run over. Provo gets in and makes the tackle right at the last minute. Bodies are flying everywhere.
And the Argos with a first down at their own 48. Austin out of the shotgun, incomplete. And looking for Fairholm. Second pass intended that way tonight. That falls incomplete.
Chris, I think that Ken Austin knows, and I'm only guessing this, that it's very important to get Jeff Fairholm involved in this football game early. Get some passes to him, build some confidence into him to make him think that and feel that he belongs back out there and he's an integral part of this receiving corps.
They really believed after a week off they could create a fresh start for Fairholm. So far, it's been a stuttering start. Looking for him again, and just overthrown. He was jostling with Ulmer, and Ken would like to have that one back.
Just taking a look at Jeff as he came off the line. He's going to run the post corner, and when he started to make his break, and normally a kind of cut that would be smooth and quick and with some acceleration, Jeff Fairholm just did not possess it right there. Actually, he stumbled again. The play before on the out pattern, he kind of stumbled and fell down before the ball got there.
First punt by Baker, and just got it away. Bruce Boyk, or Ricky Walters almost, with the block, and now it's Ulmer. And the Argos do a nice job of containing Norm Casola. And it's a return of -1. Two of the great veterans in the CFL coaching annals on the sidelines tonight. Ray Yach, number 3. Bob Obilovich, number 4 in wins all time. Only Frank Clare and Eagle Keys ahead. And Don Matthews in the midst of Yach and Obilovich, so 3 of the top 5. They've actually got Yach in second place all-time in Edmonton's coaching and in third place all-time in Winnipeg. Here's Jones throwing, and it's a completion up at the 45-yard line. And Robert Mims out of the backfield for 18 yards.
Good pressure up front. Jeff Cummings does an excellent job as he comes from the offside. Take a look at the power that he's going to come as he gets inside. Warren Jones is going to feel that push coming up the pocket. Now he spins out of there, uses that good foot speed, and the strong arm off balance is able to complete the pass.
First down, Jones kept it, but Cummings stayed with them. And now it's Narcisse can't hold on. Well, Narcisse took a pop, but you saw a little bit of what Ray Yach called the escapability of Warren Jones on that last play.
That was the great thing that he said yesterday. He said, has a terrific attitude. He has great athleticism, and he likes this word, escapability, to get away from trouble and be able to buy a little extra time, and the receivers are getting keen on knowing that they're going to have that extra time to try to find the open area, and when they get a chance to go up there, sometimes you're going to get hung out there to dry like that. Narcisse went up. He knew that he was going to take a shot.
Yeah, Greg Eaglin supplied the shot, jarred the ball loose, 2nd and 10, Jones, and down he goes. Held on to the football. Lubo Zizakovic tried to bat it loose, but was able to bring Warren Jones down.
Big Tank Younger in the middle. 5'11", 250, worked really good from tackle to tackle and is able to come back inside as Warren Jones cuts back across the grain, gets that big paw out there and slaps him down. Short of the first down, puts Matic back in a punting situation.
26-87.
Saskatchewan having trouble sustaining any offense so far in this first half, and they've had trouble with Jimmy Cunningham on punt returns.
They've tried kicking the ball away from him, but he's just got such great speed. He can get to the wall.
Boy, they really exaggerated that kick away, and it still found itself to Cunningham. He's over 100 yards now on punt returns with that. Up to the 40-yard line, Rick Walters, the tackle. But Cunningham looks like he's really got Matic concerned every time he drops back to punt.
Well, I think he's probably got the whole coverage team of Saskatchewan concerned at this point. Matic is doing the best he can to pin him back into a corner somewhere between the numbers and the out-of-bounds marker. But this guy, Cunningham, has got such great burst of speed and jets. When you get head up to him, he accelerates so fast he was able to pick up 8 yards and make something out of nothing in that last play that we just saw.
4 returns for 107 yards now. First down, and Mike Clements has a hole into the secondary, and finally wrestled down in midfield by Ron Getz. And Pinball Clements is having a heck of a first half. 53 yards and a touchdown for Clements.
Take a look at Big right here. This is John Terry. He's going to come and pull. Pinball's going to get the ball, come back inside, follow his blockers all the way around as Kenny Austin from the shotgun gives it inside. Good block. And then Pinball does an excellent job finding the open area.
And back to Cunningham, stretching out for the first down yardage. Vincent Donaldson hanging on. Jimmy Cunningham has provided Ken Austin with another weapon since joining this offense.
His first year out of Howard University, and he played under a coach that coaches a defensive back there by the name of Greg Butler. You remember Greg Butler was a defensive back with the Edmonton Eskimos way back in the old days.
And Montreal.
And Montreal. That's why you would remember it. You're such a Montreal kind of Habs guy, aren't you?
Well, Butler's best years, no doubt, were with you and the Eskimos. Second and short, and Pinball knocked back, and that's why they call him Pinball. Bounces around, but always finds a way.
And usually the way with pinball is the fact of second and third effort, as he made right there. Anytime that you don't really stop a guy like pinball on the first initial hit.
And that first hit from Brooks Finley, pinball bounced right off.
Now take a look. It's a good block and it's good tackle, but nobody wraps their arms up, and pinball just keeps his body moving and his legs moving, and he picks up the first down, keeps the chains moving.
Quick hitter for Cunningham, and he couldn't reach that pass. Austin, a great timing quarterback. The timing's been better in recent weeks, and showing a little frustration there. He says the hard part is you've always got different people coming in and out. This week they lost Crefo and Pointer, injuries during the week of practice.
Exactly. Crefo pulled a hamstring on Tuesday, and Pointer, who they really wanted to take a look at, twisted an ankle the early part of the week. So now you end up, but fortunately for them, they get to fill in with guys like Jeff Fairholm.
Have Moriali lining up as a wide out, and they throw it to Mike Moriali. Donaldson knocks him out. That'll be short of a first down. Bobo Bilovich may have a decision, not wasting any time. He's sending the field goal unit out because it's third and close to 3 yards. And why not right now? You can see the offense has some momentum, and Bobo Bilovich going to try and cash as many points as possible. I know Saskatchewan fans are thinking back to that loss in Winnipeg a couple of weeks ago when Saskatchewan gambled in the fourth quarter from the 12-yard line, were stopped. Those points might have made the difference. Terry Baker from the 42. And misses it to the left side. And Saskatchewan's Terrell Ulmer will concede the single point. So Baker 1 for 2. And the Argos up by 11.
At the Sky Dome, the Argos lead at the Alamo Dome. Texans were second and goal on their own 8. Archer with a nice toss intended for Billy Hess, but picked off by Gary Lewis for the Ticats to snuff out the Texans' drive. And it's still 10-0 San Antonio over Hamilton, Chris.
Interesting to see if that'll turn the Ticats' fortunes around. How long has it been since the Argos fans had a chance to celebrate? Well, July 29th was the date. Back on July 29th, I don't think any of those fans heard of Dick Assman. That's how long it's been.
I ain't touching that one.
Robert Mims on the carry. Joe Sardo, Jermaine Younger made the stop.
How long have you been holding, waiting for that to say that one? Pretty good.
Just came to me.
Just came to you over there, huh? Just didn't happen to be just because Saskatchewan's here in the Dome, huh?
Exactly, a little Saskatchewan theme to it.
Segue. Yeah, okay.
2nd and 5 for Warren Jones. Has to pull it down. And Jones will lean forward and get the first down. Joe Sardo tackling Jones, but not before he moves the sticks.
The good mobility of Warren Jones again, enable that first down to be met. Joe Sardo in the middle when you have to take this guy on one-on-one, but you can see the middle block, the little twist that's taking place. That's Lubo Zizakovic that is playing the defensive line for Toronto now. Comes on the outside, but a little too wide and a little too fast. Allows Warren Jones to get inside.
Now Jones out of the pocket again. Cummins in pursuit, but Jones throws it, and off the fingertips of Albert Turner. It was delivered behind the intended receiver. Craig Eaglin was covering Albert Turner on the play.
Warren Jones made a good play to get outside of containment, showed some of the speed to stay away from the pursuit. And normally when you've got him running toward the sideline and a receiver running toward the sideline, the ball's going to be thrown more toward the sideline. Unfortunately for Albert Turner, the ball was thrown back toward the inside. A miscue that Warren Jones would probably like to have back, obviously.
Those numbers terrific last week against Memphis. Most points put up by any team against the Dogs this year. 2nd and 10. And it's Farthing with the catch. And he will be shy of the first down. Joe Sardo covering Farthing on that play. Looks like they're going to get a pretty good spot here, and it will be a yard short. Ray Yock over there surveying. he has a decision to make. Saying it could be closer to 2 yards. Well, even when Tommy Burgess was the starting quarterback, in 3rd and short, they'd bring on Warren Jones because he's a powerful quarterback who can push forward on those short yardage situations, but this might be out of Jones' range too.
Well, even if he can do that, and you're exactly right as far as being the quarterback sneak, the one thing that Warren possesses is the foot speed that if they wanted to take it and kind of scramble outside and just kind of sneak it around it like a sweep around the end, there's a lot of open area. Warren Jones has the foot speed to be able to get out there and probably be able to
26
first down.
Not going to try it this time. Coverage for Saskatchewan has not been very good in this first half, and Jimmy Cunningham will try to pad his stats. 5:12 to go. First half, it's 11-0 for the Argonauts.
Let's anticipate him kicking it to the bottom of your screen, kicking it deep into the corner.
Another bouncing kick, and this one goes by Cunningham. Did he touch it? It rolls out for a single point. So Matic has Saskatchewan on the board with that punt. It's 11-1. 57-yard punt, but now there's a flag on the play. We'll sort it out when we return to Skydome in Toronto. Welcome back to Toronto. We're at Skydome, where the Argonauts still have an 11-point lead. A holding call against the Argonauts. Saskatchewan has elected to take the penalty and not the point, so they can back the Argonauts up here at their 5-yard line.
So the penalty was assessed from the 10-yard line, moved it back halfway to the goal line on the 5. Ken Austin gets to pick the hash that he would like the ball scrimmage from.
Austin over the middle. There's a completion. Jock Kleine has another catch. At the 16-yard line, it's the first down. Dan Rashovich, the 14-year veteran, on the tackle.
Raz has been around this league a long time. 34 years old, out of Simon Fraser University. Plays with a tremendous amount of heart.
And this Saskatchewan team with 7 players with 10 years experience or more. Now they give to Pinball, and LeBryant Robinson waiting for him that time. A loss back to the 10-yard line.
Great penetration just from the bottom of your screen. Giaskas number 58 is going to pull, but Robinson's having nothing to do with it. Good penetration, keeps his outside arm and leg free, and he just forces the shot right onto Mike Pinball Clements, takes him down for about a 6-yard loss.
He's a load at 6'4", 265, 2nd and 16. Lots of time for Austin, looking for Cunningham. Overthrown. Benson Donaldson watching Jimmy Cunningham. And so Saskatchewan's gamble to take the point off the board looks pretty good right now because the Argos must punt from their 10.
Great opportunity for Saskatchewan and their return team to get good field position. They should field the ball somewhere about midfield to the 50-yard line on their side.
And Ulmer and Randall are back. Baker.
Bad kick.
And Ulmer comes up, plays it neatly on the hop, and Saskatchewan, with their deepest penetration of the evening so far at the 23-yard line, not just a 26-yard punt by Terry Baker and a 13-yard return, has Saskatchewan in business. They're threatening, trying to get on the board here in Toronto.
Back to Skydome. Another update now from San Antonio. The Texans with their second major of the night. 1st and goal on the Hamilton one. Troy Mills bounced off the center into the end zone. 17-0 San Antonio in the second quarter. Chris, the Ticats had an interception earlier, but they just can't seem to get anything going.
Well, let's see if Saskatchewan can. As Warren Jones looks in the end zone, touchdown. Albert Turner. Great pump fake by Jones. And Saskatchewan's on the board. Fourth touchdown of the year for Albert Turner, who scorched Greg Eaglin on that pattern.
To the right of your screen, they put 3 receivers to the left, and they allow Turner to run the post pattern one-on-one against Eaglin. Nothing doing there, folks. I tell you what, when Warren Jones gets that kind of time to stand in the pocket, it's just pitch and catch for the Saskatchewan quarterback and receiver.
So a first half dominated by the Argonauts. Titans, and Dave Ridgway adds the extra point. And the decision by Ray Yach and the Roughriders not to take the single point set it all up. Baker's short punt, good return by Ulmer, and then immediately it's Warren Jones to Albert Turner, who closed out last year with a great promise. 5 touchdowns his last 4 games last season. They thought he really was going to light it up this year. It didn't work at the slot back position, but now that he's back outside, he's a real factor.
Well, this comes all the way back to the punt by Terry Baker that was just a shank off the right side of his foot. Having a chance to talk with Terry a couple of days ago, he just knew that when he was kicking in Ottawa, he says, all I had to do was kick the ball. Just kick it anywhere on the field. It didn't matter. But when I came to Toronto, now with the special teams and Coach Obilovich running a lot of that, I had to be more specific and kick to a specific spot. And maybe that's having some effect on him, that he's having to think too much about it now.
Well, Dave Pitcher almost blocked that punt. The previous punt was almost blocked, and Saskatchewan's giving him something to think about, too. Here's Mike Clemens, and a nice tackle by Vincent Donaldson as Clemens gets to the 36. Let's see if the Argos can answer back at halftime. These two teams have had their share of bad luck. We'll find out what their ritual superstitions are in getting ready for action. Dave Sapunjas, what a year he's had, and he'll chat with Scott from Winnipeg as Calgary gets set for a back-to-back encounter against the Blue Bombers. That's 2:47 away. Mike Clements takes the pitch, finds a hole, and Mike Clements spins off, still going, spins again, and finally nailed, but he's in Saskatchewan territory. It took Ron Getz at the Saskatchewan 51 as Pinball reels off 23 more.
Here's one of the things that happens when you pursue too quickly. You give too much of a cutback lane. Both the linebackers were outside. The backside linebacker was Gary Rogers, missed one of the tackles, and it forced Ron Getz, who was the front side linebacker, who made a miss the first time, to have to come all the way back down the field to make the tackle.
Here's that quick hitter to Cunningham, and Jimmy Cunningham nailed over the middle, but his forward progress is another first down. That was the youngster out of Edmonton, Troy Alexander, on the stop, but the Argos very quickly trying to answer back against the Saskatchewan touchdown.
Here's a gutsy play when you're going to test the heart of those receivers, when you bring them back underneath on those quick slant hitch routes, and all of a sudden you know that the pursuit of linebackers and defensive linemen are going to be there. It's not going to be too friendly when they make contact with you. Jimmy Cunningham held onto the ball very well.
At the 39-yard line, blitz. Austin picked it up. Dwayne Ford cuts it back. Nice move by Ford. And he barrels to the 20. Well, he doesn't catch many out of the backfield. That's the first time they've gone to him, I think, Kep, since the fumble on the first play last week against San Antonio. But Ford looks good for 19 here.
This is his 17th catch of the season. A guy that's used very little as far as the passing game is concerned, and all of a sudden this is a big guy, 6 foot, about 235 pounds. He's able to stop and start pretty well, and he left Ulmer standing right in his wake.
And Dale Joseph was hit by the truck with number 34 on it, and he's still down. Take a break here at the Dome with the Argos leading. Is up and headed for the sidelines. Cobwebs shaken off. Here's what happened.
And there's one thing about that big tank. He only knows one way to run, and it is right over you. And unfortunately, Dale Joseph was the guy in front of him.
Yeah, Ford wins that battle by 50 pounds. Here's Austin again to Jimmy Cunningham. And Cunningham to the 15. has a pickup of 6 more, and that means he has 138 all-purpose yards so far tonight.
Just look at the eyes of Cunningham as he comes across. He gets a little bit of a rub from the inside. Number 2 receiver makes a good eye contact with the quarterback. Great concentration looking the ball in when he's coming into traffic.
Cunningham has caught 4 against Vincent Donaldson tonight. Pitch out, pinball Clements. Looking for a hole. And not this time. Good D, Bobby Jurison. Part of that green wave.
What a character in this league, Bobby Jurison, 117 career sacks, leader of the Saskatchewan Roughrider Ball Club. But he knows it's a big challenge, particularly when you're playing with some young guys in front. As I said earlier, Troy Alexander, Timothy Edwards, guys that aren't well known in this league right now. A lot of the offenses are single blocking those guys and doubling out on Jurison, and they're expected to beat those single blocks and make a lot of things happen.
Well, the Edmonton high school product is down. Troy Alexander, who said it was a big thrill to get a chance to play against Hank Olisic earlier this season. Let's hope he's not shaken up too badly. Baltimore is starting to pull away from Shreveport. Chris Armstrong has the touchdown and over 100 yards in the first half. San Antonio, as we've been updating you with Scott tonight, 17-0 second quarter. Texans are firing on all cylinders right now. Argos found that out firsthand last week.
Coming down to just a great playoff battle for first and second between Baltimore and San Antonio. Two terrifically possessed teams that have great offenses and super defenses. And when you get to this time of the season, the defenses are going to be the ones that win you football games.
Well, there's Dave Ridgway, who one of the great kickers, one of the great characters in the league, and now an author. Dave Ridgway, there's the new book, Robo Kicker. I had a chance to look at it last night. I don't know, Kep, you're not going to like this. I got this, and we did take it out of context a bit just to stir you up, but he said Edmonton teams and their fans have what others describe as an attitude, and don't we know it, because we work with Danny Kepley, makes everyone else want to shove it down their throats.
Well, there's no doubt about that. I mean, I had the luxury of 5 Grey Cups in a row with the Edmonton teams, and every game when you went out there, whether it was a regular season game for 18 games, it was like a Grey Cup. It was like a playoff. And when people beat you, they wanted to let you know that they beat you. So it became very, very tough.
He told me you were in the book, and that's where I found you, under the attitude section. But that's one author writing about another, because I know you're a literary guy.
That's what those kickers are all about. They write books, and they won't tell you that to your face.
Third down, and again, trouble with the snap, and Terry Baker is 1 for 3. Ulmer thought about it, and finally concedes the single point. They've tried 3 field goals kept. They've had problems with the spot on all 3. Baker got lucky on the first, but they're 1 for 3 tonight, and this could come back to haunt them.
Let's see if we can take a look. This is Ken Austin. The ball kind of skips to him, and he's just slow getting the ball to the tee. He gets it put up, but also Terry Baker has already stepped and made his motion and started his progression toward the ball, and it just throws everything off as far as timing is concerned.
Been a tough night for Terry Baker against his old team, and it's 12-7 in the final minute of this first half that the Argos have dominated, but Saskatchewan's got some time to go to the locker room with the lead if Warren Jones can move it downfield. Has some time here over the middle. There's Donald Narcisse over midfield and into Argo territory. Donald Narcisse, who came into the game just over 200 yards shy of a 7th straight 1,000-yard season, and he was telling me earlier today that would mean even more to him than the catching streak of 139 games consecutively. Ken Austin saying the same thing yesterday. That's what really impresses him about Narcisse, his productivity over those years. Flag goes down as Jones unloads, and it's incomplete, intended for Boyko out of the backfield. And a holding call against Saskatchewan. 24 seconds left on the clock.
Take a look, the shotgun position. Dan Payne's at the top of your screen. He's starting to grab. Then he just grabs a little claw.
Saskatchewan number 57. Repeat first down.
Gets his hands up in the face of Cummings, the defender. Now, this is a big man. Dan Payne goes 6'7", 300 pounds out of Simon Fraser. And when he puts that paw in your face, you know it.
It's up to Hyde when you're Dan Payne, and he was caught. It's 1st and 20. Looking at least for field goal range as Jones throws downfield, and there is Narcisse again. At the 40, Donald Narcisse is pretty close to Ridgeway territory. 24 yards on this pickup, and Narcisse 5 for 55 in the game.
Take a look at how he reads this zone, finds the open spot, sets down. He knows he's going to get contact. He's going to get hit. Younger, the middle linebacker, comes by, just slides right by him and misses him. But Ken Walcock is there to make the tackle.
Time for a couple of plays. Jones can't find anybody. Now does. There's Turner. And Turner is nailed by Don Wilson, 27-yard line. That's close to a first down. 4 seconds left, and Ridgeway will come on.
Toronto playing a very soft zone, allowing Warren Jones time to do some of that escapability that he has, get to the open spot and hit the open receiver. And now we'll see this kicker with the attitude that we're talking about. A lot of pressure on him right now, big guy.
We'll find out why he's called Robo-Kicker here. Matic holding. Never a doubt. Final play, first half. And the Toronto Argonauts have the lead, but Dave Ridgeway has tightened proceedings here. And the Argos missed a couple field goals, or it could have been bigger, but it's 12-10 at the half.
Through 30 minutes at Skydome, Argos bidding for their first win in 8 games and leading Saskatchewan by 2. Well, how to get ready to play a pro football game? You would think that practice combined with hard work and talent would do the trick, but it is just not that simple. Who knows what bizarre rituals go on behind the closed doors of the locker room?
Geez, I have to put the right sock on first, take the left sock off first.
Before I get here, I like to relax. I listen to Frank Sinatra.
I have to use Irish Spring soap. That's one of the main things. If I don't have it, I go nuts, and I have to have it.
I have to tap the lineman on a certain shoulder before we come into a huddle.
When I take my hands to go out in the field, I do it while I'm going to the washroom before the game.
Put my pads and my pants in a certain order, put my belt on the same way.
I've been wearing the same pair of underwear for 6 weeks, and it's not working, so I better get rid of them.
The rituals are like statistics. They're for losers.
I have to sit on the 53-yard line on the right side of the bench.
You get taped the night before?
I get taped about 4.5 hours before the game.
No one can touch my pads, and the only person I can put my jersey on is Norm.
I hang my towel on a different rack.
Compared to Jeff Fairholm, yeah, sure, I'm normal.
Well, I'm trying to do what Obi's doing and trying to find different combinations. As soon as I find the right combination of rituals, then I'll have it set.
Well, the Argos tried everything to turn their season around, including changing coaches about a month ago, and here all they had to do was have Jeff Fairholm hang his towel on a different rack. Here at Skydome, the Argos lead Saskatchewan 12-10 at halftime. When the BF Goodrich TA halftime report continues, we'll go to Winnipeg to talk to Calgary's Dave Sapunjas.
Okay. Yeah, that's good, Mike. Yeah, that's good, Joel.
Just underneath the CN Towers sits Skydome in downtown Toronto. David Bowie played here a couple of nights ago. The Argos and Riders are on stage tonight. Welcome back now to the BF Goodrich TA halftime report. Toronto and Saskatchewan are both scrambling for playoff spots, but the Calgary Stampeders are where they usually are at this time of year, home and cooled, 11-1, and in Winnipeg to play the Bombers tomorrow. The Sponge has already soaked up a season's worth of passes for the Stampeders, 85 for over 1,200 yards. David Sapunjas is a good bet to improve his numbers in Winnipeg tomorrow. The league's top receiver spoke to us earlier today from Winnipeg Stadium. Dave, the Canadian quota is a hot topic all over the league, with the exception of Calgary in large part because of you. Is your performance making any kind of a statement?
Well, hey, I take a lot of pride in being Canadian. I take a lot of pride in having the year that I'm having. I'm not too concerned whether or not I'm Canadian or American. I go out there and play the way I can, Scott.
Dave, your team's in first place, and you've got the numbers, but it's not going to matter unless, and I'll let you finish the sentence.
Well, it's not going to matter unless we win a Grey Cup, and that's the feeling around this team. We've talked about it since day one. The key for this team is to get better as the season goes on, not to peak at around game 11, game 12. We want to peak come playoff time, and it will not be a successful season unless we win a Grey Cup.
Dave, a comment on the game tomorrow. The Bombers are not given a chance. You guys, it seems, have everything to lose tomorrow.
Well, yeah, we do, but I'll tell you, it's going to be a night and day compared to last week and this week's game. Winnipeg always plays great at home, and when we've come into the stadium, it has not been an easy game, and that's what we've talked about this week. We've talked about we have to come into the stadium. We know that Winnipeg's going to play a lot better than they have, and we expect that. I mean, we're confident enough that if we play to our level, we think we're going to win the game.
All right, Dave, thanks for your time. Best of luck tomorrow.
Thanks, Scott.
Stamps and the Bombers tomorrow on the CFL on CBC. Calgary beat Winnipeg by 15 on Tuesday, and that was considered progress, but the Bombers will have to make a whole lot more progress tomorrow. Chris and Dan with me now at Skydome. Cap, a comment on the Calgary Stampeders. Other teams lose key players and go into tailspins. They lose Doug Flutie and just keep on winning.
Does the word scary mean anything? Because that's exactly what Calgary's offense and defense is like. A guy like Garcia is surrounded by a great bunch of veterans, and they just seem to rise to another level. And everybody, offensively, defensively, and special teams, are showing that.
Chris, how about Jeff Garcia? A month ago, no one knew his name.
Unbelievable. He has 16 touchdown passes already. Now, the combined total going into the game for Austin and Jones was 16.
All right, let's focus on what's going on here at the Skydome. Cap, I think even though the Argos are only leading by 2, this is more of what they had in mind.
Well, I think it is. They've had an opportunity to get into the ball game. They've established some good things. They've got a rushing game going so far. They got the ball into Pinball Clements' hands, and he does some things, and these are the kind of things that we're used to seeing Pinball do, get the ball in the end zone.
Now, they established the running game, but then Saskatchewan came back. Jones to Turner, their touchdown strike in the first half.
And how this game quickly turned to put Saskatchewan back into it. If there's one thing we could mention, it's missed field goal opportunities. They could come back to haunt the Argos.
They can really come back to do that, and then all of a sudden, the Toronto comes up and something that they haven't had for the previous 7 or 8 weeks, special teams and return guys. And all of a sudden, they get a guy by the name of Cunningham that as soon as he touches the ball can make a lot of things happen, instant field position.
Yeah, it's funny. The special teams have been the Argos' biggest strength and the biggest weakness in the first half.
And they've got a speedster in Jimmy Cunningham. Sooner or later, he's going to break one. So that's the BF Goodrich TA halftime report. Stand by now for the second half coming up from Skydome with the Argos in front of Saskatchewan by 2.
When the winter wind blows.
Back at Skydome in Toronto, Saskatchewan and the Argos just back on the field and set now for the second half. We talked about rituals earlier. How many must the York Yeomen have gone through over the years? 0-47 since 1988 in CIU competition. 0 for the 90s, but playing today at York's brand new sports field. Late first half, Andre Batson returned to Windsor punt the distance. The touchdown gave York a 10-1 halftime lead over the Lancers. And York celebrated the opening of its new field with its first win in 7 years. 18-8, the final over Windsor in what turned out to be a perfect day. Congratulations to York coach Tom Arnott, the Yeomen, and their fans. Chris, a momentous accomplishment for the York Yeomen today. They deserved every moment of the celebration.
Oh, Scott, great day. And what about a parlay on York and Toronto winning on the same day? 47 games for the Yeomen.
I hope you guys bought 649 tickets is all I know.
And the Argos have lost 7 in a row. Dave Ridgway and company, though, very much in this football game. As we kick off the second half, Mike Clements will toss it to Tommy Henry on the reverse. Dale Joseph not fooled, and he'll bring Henry down. Otherwise, that would have been a big one to start the second half. Good play by Joseph. Here are the numbers through 30 minutes of football, and after a quick start, Saskatchewan ends up with more offense.
Came on strong in the second quarter. Warren Jones having an opportunity to really feel out some of the defensive things that were taking place out there this game, and he took advantage of that, both throwing and rushing the ball on the scramble himself, kept the drives alive.
So Ken Austin and the Argonaut offense goes to work. here in the second half. Pinball Clements does get outside, picks up a block from Jock Climbing, and Pinball has another scamper of over 10 yards and a first down. That's the way they got things started in the first half. Clements on the ground.
Clements makes you break down. He makes you slow down so that you think that you're under control. Bobby Jurison comes down inside. He gets head up with Pinball. When Pinball can get you head up, and he's got a two-way goal on either side of you, it's advantage Michael Pinball Clements. He's able to pick up some yardage as he just did.
Well, Mike Clements now with 79 yards rushing, and we made the comment a couple of weeks ago, Kep. Here's Austin going deep, looking for Cunningham. And he made the catch, but out of bounds. I'll tell you what, it was a heck of a play by Cunningham, but it'll be second down. Donaldson was step for step. But we were surprised. Clements in 102 games in the CFL has just one 100-yard rushing game, and he's on his way tonight.
Take a look at this. Great coverage, stride for Donaldson. Down the sideline, terrific catch by Cunningham. Don't go away. We'll see that again very shortly.
Second and 10. Good time for Austin. Over the middle, Fairholm off his hands. Picked off by Dave Van Bellingham. It's Van Bellingham's 6th interception of the year. Flags flying after the interception. But the frustration continues for Fairholm, who has been shut out so far tonight. And Van Bellingham congratulated on interception number 6. He's had a big job this year in replacing the retired Glenn Suter. The holding call coming after the interception.
And he's done a very good job. Zone defense. The ball, as you can see,
first down.
Thrown behind Jeff Fairholm. He tries to get his body around. The tip drill takes place, and Van Bellingham does an excellent job looking the ball in, coming up with the pick.
21st interception of the year for the Roughriders, and Van Bellingham leading in that category. First down for Jones and company, faking to Mims, ditching it off, and Boyko beats the first man, fumbles the football. It's Argo ball. It went off Joe Fuller and out of bounds. The Argos will take it as Boyko coughed it up.
Now this is a play that they have tried to run 3 different times. The counter trap, and then they try to throw the screen. The previous 2 times, it has been to Elgard. This time, Swift Birch stays man-to-man with Boyko, who came in to block. That's his responsibility. As the tight end, if he comes in to block you, grab him. If he goes out on a pass pattern, you run with him. And Swift Birch did an excellent job of doing that and also stripping the ball loose.
First down, Argonauts. Austin rolling out, throwing it inside. That's Ford to the 40, and just a couple on the pickup, his 2nd reception of the game. But Bobby Jurison was there, and he told you yesterday he does a little coverage.
Well, I said, now don't get this carried away too far thinking that you're a linebacker now because you line up in that 3-4 look. He said, man, I've got all the moves. I've got the drops. I go the man-to-man. He said, they just don't want to show my talent too much. They don't want to highlight it too much because then guys may want to be more like me.
He officially is called a rover in the Saskatchewan defense. Second down. Austin going deep, and Cunningham with Donaldson draped all over him. That time the coverage looked too good, and Austin is going to let the official know it.
I think Kent may have a pretty justified complaint with the kind of coverage that he saw Vincent Donaldson. Look at this. Now it's just a post, just a streak route going straight down. There's some contact. The right hand comes up. The only thing that saves Donaldson was the fact that his head was turned around and he was looking back for the ball. And therefore, the referee in that case, the side judge, decided to call incidental contact and let it go.
Argos 1 for 3 in field goals. Better snap, better hold, and better result. But a flag is down. Let's wait and see if this one will stay on the board. Pierre Bercheval came in this time as the snapper, and the Argos are going to have more points taken off the board. This is against Toronto.
Illegal procedure against Toronto.
Wow. When you're trying to end a 7-game losing streak, you can't afford these.
Now it's a tough point. Now it goes out of his rep.
Procedure. No end. Toronto. Repeat 3rd down.
How many times has that happened this year? An alignment problem costs the Argos. It's one aspect of the game that has improved with Bob Obilovich since taking over for Faragelli.
Look at the right side of your screen. You see the 3 players there just in a little bit of a half-moon circle. That 3rd guy in needs to be up on the line of scrimmage to create an in.
Almost blocked it in. Baker didn't get it away. As Joey Yock came in untouched, Baker didn't have a chance. So 3 points off the board, and they give Saskatchewan the football at their own 53. Well, Kep, we're starting to see some of the plays that have gotten the Argos in this quagmire in the first place. 7 straight losses. They have squandered scoring opportunities tonight again, and Warren Jones has Albert Turner, who's already found the end zone once tonight for a first down at the Toronto 47. Jermaine Younger, the tackle.
Take a look at this. Now, this is the punt. Right in here is Joey Yock. Watch everybody step out to block outside. Joey Yock will come straight up the middle. All by himself, gets right in Terry Baker's face. Baker just drops the ball. Big turnover. Mistake with no in on the field goal. Cost him field position and 3 points. Joey Yock, the son of Coach Ray Yock. I tell you what, now I know I'm getting really old because I owe a lot to Coach Ray Yock. He brought me into the league in 1975, and that was just a little kid that ran around with shorts on. Take a look at Joey as he comes in there. Does a good job getting his hands up and also avoiding running into the kicker when he did not make contact with the ball.
We're told the official scoring of that play will be a fumble and not a block kick. But Baker had to pull it down. And now on first down, here's Narcisse. You know, his mom was up from Port Arthur, Texas. For the first time saw Donald Narcisse play a pro football game last week. She wanted him in the marching band. Apparently, as a kid, he had a heart murmur and a little bit of asthma, and she didn't want him to play football, and now he's one of the best receivers in CFL history.
Tell you what, that first catch took place on September 19th, 1987, and went all the way through September 17th, almost to the day.
Here's Mims on first down. He's got room off the left side. And finally, Greg Eaglin got enough of them to bring him down with some help from Swift Birch. But Saskatchewan is taking control of this football game, capitalizing on Argo mistake.
With some of the help, the Argos are starting to shoot themselves in the foot again. And the kind of team that you have, a Ray Yock team, is a very disciplined team that does take advantage of things. Robert Mims, good seal on the outside, nobody up to contain it, and Robert Mims being a good running back. Run to daylight.
First down, Saskatchewan, go back to Mims. They'll try that left side. Mims crashing down to the 17-yard line, forced out of bounds. Ken Walcott, the safety, ushering him out. Saskatchewan winners of 3 of their last 4, and a lot of people in Regina will tell you they should be 4 in a row, but for a questionable call and a couple of second and third down sneaks at the goal line by Tommy Burgess in Winnipeg.
Got to take a look at Ray Elgard, some of the valuable assets that he has, not only as a pass receiver, but as a blocker. He sacrifices that body, gets downfield, makes the block to try to help a teammate.
Second down, and Mims has the first. Crashing down to the 5, flag going down. As Mims hit the turf, so did a penalty marker.
Well, I no sooner mention his name than I think that Ray Elgard may get called for holding on this one also.
And not surprisingly from his reaction, he is not buying it.
Holding, Saskatchewan number 81. Repeat second down.
And so Saskatchewan is stepped back. Let's find out what Elgard did.
Take a look as he comes off. Number 38, that's Joe Sardo. All he does, he grabs that right hand. He gets up and he grabs some part of the jersey. And that's exactly where he got called for the holding.
2nd and 12. They fake it to Turner, and Jones dumped it off incomplete. Closest man to the football was Scott Hendrickson, an ineligible receiver, but Ray Elgard was in the neighborhood, and that's why there is no flag. And Warren Jones was decked by Noah Cantor, a rookie that has impressed Bob Obilovich this year out of St. Mary's.
This is a guy that Coach Obilovich says has all the potential to be a great defensive lineman in this league. Speed and attitude allows him to get the job done.
Ottawa native out of St. Mary's. And there's Dave Ridgway, and I've got to get this in because...
You're coming back to the book again, aren't you?
Well, we took it out of context a bit. He said a lot of nice things about Edmonton. I'm not trying to ease your feelings, but there's some folks in Edmonton that might not buy the book that probably should, because it's...
Not at all. Buy that book, because I can tell you, Dave Ridgway has spent a lot of years gathering that information.
And Dave Ridgway has kicked Saskatchewan into the lead here, midway through the 3rd quarter. The Argonauts had an 11-0 lead, but Saskatchewan's come back, and their first lead of the game is 13-12 here at Skydome. Baltimore pouring it on against Shreveport tonight. San Antonio trying to keep pace as they have the lead on the Tiger Cats. Still not on the board in San Antonio. Dave Ridgway kicks it off, and Mike Clements has some room up this near sideline, now circled and pushed out at the 43. Rick Walters with the tackle, 21 yards for 31 Clemens. On the kickoff return, Ken Austin now must recharge a stalled Toronto offense.
Come back and do exactly the same things that he did in the second half of last week's game against San Antonio. He nickel and dimed it a little bit, threw the ball underneath, and then all of a sudden when he needed to go up top, he went up top whenever he had a chance. That's a good look at Glenn Kalka, who comes in to play a little defensive line.
Games with Morgan set to the left side, but the give to Clements up the middle, and nothing doing this time. Glenn Kalka in on the tackle with Brooks Finley. By the way, Troy Alexander, the rookie defensive tackle, is on the bench, but has not seen action in the second half for Saskatchewan. Just one for pinball that time. It'll be 2nd and 9. Jeff Fairholm is not in this Argonaut offense, has not returned since the interception. Austin throwing for Climby, who climbed up to make the catch. There is a flag down in the defensive secondary of Saskatchewan. Climby had enough for the first down. Let's see if it stands. And it was contact against the Roughriders, so...
Looked like number 3, Errol Brown, was in the secondary as a 6 DB, as a nickel back. And he came into some contact with Jimmy Cunningham.
Forward pass interference. Saskatchewan number 2, decline. First down.
So at midfield, it's a first down for the Argonauts. Seven and a half minutes to go. 3rd quarter. They fake the hitch and they go up over the top to Climby, and he has the catch. Donaldson says he was out of bounds. Check that, Joseph, but it is another catch for Jock Climby. So they're getting the slot production they were looking for from one of the slots tonight.
Well, they're actually moved him around. They've got him lined up as the wideout. This time, they fake the hitch screen to the outside. He goes out like he's going to make the block. Then he turns it up on a wheel route. And Ken Austin has enough time to deliver the ball right on the money. Climby makes an excellent catch.
Roman Anderson has added another field goal. Texans up by 20, and Clements met by Kalka, the former Argo. Glenn Kalka introducing himself to Pinball Clements. Wow, did he fill that hole?
Great penetration by Glenn Kalka. Does a good job of getting around the block of the center, squares himself up, gets down the line of scrimmage, and makes sure the tackle, once he gets his hands on Pinball, to grab cloth and put him on the turf.
He's in there for Alexander right now. 2nd and 11. Austin going deep. And just overthrown, and a flag comes down. Dale Joseph was in tight coverage against Jock Climbing. Bob Obilovich was waiting for that one. And my esteemed partner isn't convinced.
The only term that I wanted to say was this a catchable pass? That's the only thing that I want to see. Probably get a shot of it on the replay because the ball sailed about 8 yards past the receiver.
Pass interference. Saskatchewan number 21. First down.
Ray may not believe it either. But again, I'm defensive prejudice by any chance. But all of a sudden, you get tied up. Your feet get tied up a bit. I don't know if that's a catchable ball. There was contact, and initially then the refs are going to make the call according to see the contact that was made. But you got to look at where the ball was thrown, too.
And now look where it's spotted. At the 5-yard line. First down, Argonauts.
A couple of mistakes by Toronto allowed Saskatchewan to get back into this game a bit. Now a big mistake and a penalty by the Saskatchewan defense allows Toronto 1st and goal on the 2.
There we go. Austin dropped the snap, and the Argos self-destructing again. And fortunately for the Boatmen, they're back on it at the 4. Well, they've had some trouble spotting the football on converts tonight, and this time the snap from Coulter to Austin.
Take a good look at Kent there. He is coming out really fast out from underneath the center, Carl Coulter. And the ball, as it was snapped, just hit him in the fingertips as opposed to the palm.
2nd and goal. Austin with time. Dwayne Ford, touchdown. Just the 2nd TD of Dwayne Ford's career, and the Argos regain the lead.
Coming right at you now, you can see exactly what Ken Austin sees. It's just a quick out pattern, one-on-one. The big guy, Dwayne Ford, against the outside linebacker. Ken Austin says, that's one. Count it, baby. Put it up on the board.
First touchdown reception ever for Dwayne Ford in the Canadian Football League. Had his first rushing touchdown a few weeks ago against San Antonio. And big number 34 gives Bob Obilovich something to celebrate after the pass interference call against Dale Joseph.
Take a look. That Ford is going to be right in here, okay? All it's going to do, the shotgun formation, as the ball is going to be snapped. It's a quick out. All he's going to do is run right to the corner, right to the flag, away from the pursuit of the defense. And Ken Austin throws the ball on the left-hand side of him, perfect position, and the big guy shows some sure hands of wrapping that up and getting it in for his first CFL touchdown by the pass.
If Saskatchewan is looking at tendencies, Dwayne Ford's not the guy they're looking for.
No, Dwayne Ford is not even considered in tendency. He is known as a blocker, and probably as good a blocker as there is in this league. But all of a sudden, just when you think it's safe to forget about him, something big like that happens.
Baker kicking it between the 2 return men, and Ruffin having trouble with it. That's a live football, and Ruffin just got the knee down. Jacobitz had a chance there to really nail him, but they get the 1 point. And that makes it a 7-point lead as we join Scott.
All right, Chris, at the Alamo Dome, watch this. San Antonio extends its lead over Hamilton. 6.5 to go in the 3rd quarter. Steve Taylor at quarterback for the Ticats now, having replaced Anthony Cavillo. Fumble. And Maurice Miller had a big game against Toronto last week. Recovered and returned it all the way for the Texan touchdown. And now it's 27-0.
Yes, San Antonio and Baltimore clearly now starting to assert themselves in the Southern Division. Guess I shouldn't write off Mr. Dunnigan in Birmingham yet.
I don't think so. Not the way that that guy can throw the ball.
Here's Jones throwing, and Mims tried the one-hander. Pass in behind the running back. Ball's incomplete with Younger in the neighborhood.
Chris, let's go back just for a second. Just talk about that kickoff. It was just a terrible decision on two of those return guys. You can take a look there as the ball is thrown way behind the intended receiver. You got plenty of time to throw it, an open view down the field as the receiver is turning in front of the zone. Plenty of open spot, just a poorly thrown ball.
Here comes Younger on the blitz, picked up though. And now Jones running for his life. Down he goes. Back at the 30-yard line. Big country Jeff Cummins. Says the sack dance. Told me before the game he had a big game against Saskatchewan last year and was looking forward to this.
Does a great job of doing his responsibility, forcing the ball outside containment. Now he shows some of that big-time, big country speed that he has. Comes across the line of scrimmage. And I'm not sure, but I give it a 7. What do you give, Chris?
Well, he's a former Oregon Duck, and I'd call that the duck waddle. Here come the Argos, and they almost got the Matic. Hangs it up, and Jimmy Cunningham. Good coverage that time by Saskatchewan. At the 39-yard line, 4:05 to go, third quarter. Back the Argos up by 7. That the Argos break a 7-game losing streak. They're up by 7 here. Lots of time to go. Hey, equal time for Arthur tonight. Yeah, we talked about Dave Ridgway, but it's not the first book on the CFL. Now, which one's Kepley? Yeah, number 42. That's right.
You guys are bad. Holy
1983. I know you're a literary type like Ridgway. You guys probably will go out after the game, sip a couple Perriers, and talk about, literature.
Well, like cafe latte kind of stuff. And, we talk about Pulitzer Prizes and things like that. We're trying to figure out which one are we going to put them together and make a movie.
The way I see it, though, is the Argos are called for procedure. A kicker has maybe a better overview of the entire league than a linebacker.
Still first down.
I would, without any disrespect to the kickers, but they sure get to stand on the sideline and get to view a lot of it. So I would think they have a better chance of getting to see the CFL and parts of what goes on. They're the only guys. Kickers are notorious to be the biggest pranksters on the team because they have the most free time.
First and 15 is Austin going deep, and there was some jostling between Cunningham and Donaldson. Incomplete. What impressed me most about the book, though, and there is a flag down in the Argo backfield, is most of your book was in English, which was terrific.
I did it for athletes back in my days. It was very big print with lots of pictures. Yep. It was a very popular book. It was easy to read.
Well, Jake's not sure.
I'm not sure either.
Saskatchewan seems to be mulling this one over. It looked like it was
tripping. Toronto number 61. Decline. Second down.
John Terry, the left tackle, a rare tripping call. It would have been first and 25. We're going to take a look at it. Terry, big number 61. And
just to the right of your screen, he sticks out that big right foot. And it is big, 6'4", 290 pounds, out of Livingston College, and he gets caught.
Second and 15, Austin throwing it up for grabs. Well, the Saskatchewan receivers had a beat on it. Brian Randall was close to it. And Gary Rogers decked Ken Austin, and he's slow to get up. And this Argo offense is getting depleted. Paul Mazzotti out of the game. Jeff Fairholm has been pulled from the game. We're not sure if that's an injury. There's Jeff on the sidelines. He hasn't been back since the interception a little bit earlier, and now Austin feeling the effects.
But take a look as he stands in the pocket, trying to buy time, and has the ball released, and then he gets sandwiched.
Wow.
Gary Roberts comes in, and the big guy, Bobby Jurison.
Guy could get whiplash standing in there against Rogers and Jurison.
Well, you get more than a whiplash with that. You can get killed and carted off.
Yeah, and that's, reminiscent of the sack Marvin Graves putting on the headset. He may be called in here. But that was very similar to a concussion received by Austin against San Antonio here on Labor Day. He got hit the exact same way from either side simultaneously.
Ken Austin has the rib pads on, the flak jacket, but still, it's with such a touchy back that he had. He said it was very bruised. They actually had to drain some fluid off of it. But going into this game, he had felt as healthy as he had in the last 4 or 5 weeks.
The Argos have given him pretty good protection tonight, but not that time. And on 3rd and 15, Baker in. And lately, the Argo punting has been a bit of an adventure. Not this time. Much better kick by Baker. At the 25, Randall. Brian Randall trying to get outside against Sardo. P.J. Martin cutting him off and nailing him at the 40. Good return, though, by Brian Randall. 14 yards after a 51-yard kick. Well, here's how it went earlier tonight. Baker with that field goal off the upright, and then Clemens scampering in. Baker's missed a couple of field goals this evening, but they did have an 11-point lead till the Turner touchdown. Another single off a missed field goal by Baker. Dave Ridgway, a field goal to close out the first half. And another to start the second half before the Dwayne Ford catch. And a single off the kickoff ensuing. That pass was tipped. And we're at 20-13 with 2:35 to go, third quarter. And Swift Birch got his hands up to prevent that pass.
Taking a look at the back of Ken Austin.
And that's the bruised area already. He's got a little bit of a pad down there, but says it doesn't really do a whole lot.
Not when you have two guys with the size like Jurison and Rogers coming in. They sandwich you in between, and they twist that back around. You're going to feel it.
2nd and 10, Saskatchewan. Jones pulled it down, now goes deep, looking for Narcisse, and a flag down there. Tommy Henry. Henry celebrating the coverage, and I don't think he knows that the call's going against him.
This was a real long kind of hook and go. Donald Narcisse came down about 15 yards, made the curl in like he was going to turn, and then all of a sudden turned the jets going up the field. Henry got the hands on him, but I didn't see any great contact.
Pass interference. Toronto number 6. First down.
Yeah, those are two pass interference calls either way that I don't think a lot of people agree with.
No, I don't think I'd have to agree with that one or the one they called on Donaldson earlier at the goal line.
The one against Henry, not as painful, at least yet. Tommy Henry out of Florida State. He was mentioning the other day that he lost just 6 games in 5 years at Florida State. Argos in the midst of a 7-game losing streak here, and Mims powers his way to the 40, has 7. Swift Birch the tackle.
Well, yeah, you happen to mention Florida State and Tommy Henry. He was the backup to Deion Sanders and also Terrell Buckley there. And it says in the media guide, I'm trying to look at this now, it says he nicknamed himself Prime Time. I think, baby, that one's already been taken by the big guy.
Yep. Just have to compare paychecks or bonuses to establish who gets first dibs.
About the only comparison I can make is Deion and you are about equal.
I'm not an author. 2nd down and short, and I don't think they got there. Younger a little slow to get up. We're told that Paul Mazzotti has a hamstring problem. And that may have a lot to do with the Argos sputtering offense in the second half. A lot of Argos slow to get up after that. Younger, Cummins, and we've got a measurement.
Take a look at the big guy, nicknamed Tank, fights his way up into the hole, gets his left arm up there, and it's extended, and when he falls down, he's got it extended completely, and he jars that elbow in the shoulder area. But the big man, Younger, seems to be okay.
3rd down, about 2 feet for Saskatchewan. At the Argo 38, 1:09 to go, third quarter. It's 2013 Toronto. Ray Yark trying to help the officials with the spot. And Jones plunging forward. Ray Yark was trying to report that Gene Mikowski, number 60, was in at an end despite his number, and let's see if that is why the flag was thrown.
I think probably just offsides against Toronto.
Offside, Toronto number 98, first down.
Brannon jumped from his tackle position. There's Paul Mazzotti and Jeff Fairholm, and we have not seen either of them in the second half. Mazzotti, we're told hamstring, and I'm not sure if Fairholm was nicked or not.
Just at the beginning of the game, a couple of routes that I saw Jeff run just did not look quite sharp like the Jeff Fairholms that we knew.
Down to the 28 for Robert Mims. You know, he has insisted that there's nothing wrong with the knee, Jeff Fairholm, that he can cut on it. Let's take a look at Younger here.
Big Younger one-on-one against Lamley. Good job getting off the block, falling back in to make the tackle. But you're exactly right, Chris. We were talking to Jeff, and he says, you know something? I've been running well. I'm cutting as good as I've ever cut. He said, they were talking about, well, have you run the 40 lately? He says, well, I haven't run the 40 since I was a junior in college. That's not important. I'm running routes. I'm making cuts. I have the explosion that I think I need to get the job done as a receiver.
Flag down, Jones in trouble, and it's picked off. Jeff Cummins has the interception as Warren Jones coughed up the football under pressure by Steve Brannon. And it seems week after week, despite the Argos' troubles, Jeff Cummins makes a big play. But there is a flag down. And it's against Toronto.
Chris, you know, we were talking a little bit earlier about
98, repeat second down.
Brannon again, the guy who put the pressure on and jolted Warren Jones.
We talked about quarterbacks that are in backup roles. This is just a bad mistake that is thrown by a quarterback that should never try to make that play. Go ahead and eat the ball, tuck it down, and try to line up again. But you just gave it up, and you got very fortunate because there was a penalty against Toronto.
Second and a yard, and out of that scatter formation, they'll give to Mims trying the right side. Now turns it up, and at the 20, we'll move the yardsticks. That's the end of the third quarter. Here at Skydome in Toronto, Bob Obilovich and the Argos hanging on to a 7-point lead. The lead is 7 as we start the fourth quarter at Skydome in Toronto, but the lead might not last for long. Saskatchewan knocking at the door. First down at the Toronto 20-yard line. Chris Cuthbert, Danny Kepley, Scott Oak, and the CFL on CBC crew. Hope you're enjoying tonight's game. Pivotal one for both teams in quest of the 5th playoff spot in the north. Robert Mims. And Mims broke through the first surge and is down to the 12-yard line. Through 3 quarters. Pretty even. Slight edge Saskatchewan. At least statistically.
Good job right now. Saskatchewan seems to have been able to take over the point of attack, the line of scrimmage, and are doing a good job of controlling the ball up front, allowing Warren Jones the opportunity to mix up his plays, both by the pass and trying to rush the ball outside.
You like this too. 2nd and 2 from down here. Mims has the first down, gets to the 8, and a late flag comes down. Robert Mims now focusing on a 100-yard game, 12 for 72. But a holding call will bring that back.
Holding, Saskatchewan number 81, repeat second down.
Ray Elgart caught the second time tonight. You know, some fans might be wondering, are we seeing more flags this year? It seems to be a question asked every year, and the league released statistics that indicate penalties are up 2.5% this year over last. And considering expansion, that might not really seem like it's out of line or unexpected. Here's Jones throwing, and that's well behind Albert Turner, the intended receiver. And Younger is slow to get up again. Younger and Brannon had a meeting right at the quarterback, and Jones gets up, but Brannon and Younger are still down.
Chris, just to finish off your comment about the penalties, and I think expansion has had something to do with it. Also the fact that with that expansion comes the addition of some new American officials who are just learning the game. So some of this stuff is fairly new to them, and a lot of guys out there have been throwing a lot of flags. I'm not saying they had to justify their existence, but they actually are throwing the flags on what they think is a penalty.
Well, Jermaine Younger being attended to gives Jones a chance to confer with Ray Yach and a chance for us to join Scott.
All right, Chris, here's the latest from the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. The Cats get on the board. Steve Taylor ran a nice drive for Hamilton and finished it by rolling right and then hitting Manny Hazard with about a 10-yard strike. 27-7, Texans over the Cats. And in Baltimore, 39-19 now for the Stallions over Shreveport in the fourth quarter. Travis Cosart with a major for the Pirates to get them to within 20, but it doesn't look very hopeful for the Pirates, does it?
And again tomorrow we'll have the game between the Calgary Stampeders and the Blue Bombers in Winnipeg. And Jermaine Younger getting attention. And remember, he had an impressive debut on Labor Day against San Antonio and then hurt his knee in that game. And this doesn't appear to be the knee, but Younger's been banged up again. Well, Jermaine Younger started off and then pulled up a bit. And now making his way gingerly to the bench.
Let's take a look just in the middle. Now watch Younger. He's right here. Now he's going to get one-on-one against the big guy. That's Michelle Lammy in the middle. It's not anything that he gets hit, but now he's going to come in, take on his right shoulder. Michelle Lammy does an excellent job just getting right up into his face, and then he hits him right on the point of that right shoulder, and there's where the contact took place.
And Ridgway now has gotten Saskatchewan closer. Dave Ridgway with another field goal that makes it 20-16. Ridgway with 3 so far tonight. And it is 20-16. That Argo defense getting banged up. The Argo roster banged up. Boy, they were shaken up coming into this game. They have 4 injured starting Canadians. Leon Hatziano, Rob Crefo, Patrick Burke, George Namako. Of course, Calvin Tiggle is out. He might be ready to come back next week. His replacement, Younger, is now hurt. And we now have confirmation Jeff Fairholm pulled hamstring. So that's also what we're told is wrong with Paul Mazzotti. So it's just going from bad to worse. Remember, the Argos lost 2 receivers in practice this week.
Chris, we talked a little bit about it last week as far as the Canadian-based teams and the depth that they have on their rosters. It's hard to find good quality players. You just don't have them on the practice roster that can jump in there and start right away.
Let's rejoin Scott.
All right, Chris, Ticats in San Antonio have themselves an even deeper hole. Steve Taylor back to pass directly into the hands of linebacker Tommy Smith, and this had 6 written all over it. Ran it back for the touchdown, and now it's 35 or 34-7 make that Texans over the Tiger Cats.
Remember when we went into San Antonio last week and they were last, the Texans, in takeaways this year? They had 8 against Toronto and an interception for a touchdown against the Tabbies. Here's a pass in the flat. Jock Climbing breaks the tackle and gets 2 or 3 on the play. But right now, the Argos with Cunningham and Climbing, who started the game at receiver, but they've got Moriali in and Ainsworth Morgan replacing Fairholm and Mazzotti.
Well, Climbing does a good job of running right through the arm tackle of Dale Joseph. Good thing he gets his head behind the receiver, and that allows the receiver's momentum to break through that arm tackle and pick up an additional 3 or 4 yards.
2nd and 6. And back to Climbing, and he leads the intended receiver too far. And the Argos will have to punt. Third down. Just nicely into this fourth quarter.
A lot of hand battling off the line of scrimmage, and this is the one thing, talking with some of the Toronto receivers, the halfbacks of Saskatchewan play a very physical game. They like to press you. They like to get up there and jam you before you get up any opportunity to get any momentum coming off the line of scrimmage. And both of the halfbacks, Joseph and Omer, doing an excellent job on the Toronto receivers tonight.
Gary Baker puts away a good punt. And it's Ulmer. Nice tackle there as he crossed the 35-yard line. Swift Birch, first man down, 9-yard return after a 38-yard punt. Here's why this game is so critical to both teams. Saskatchewan needs the win, which would give them 5 on the year, because there aren't any easy games left. Back-to-back with Baltimore and Calgary and in BC. And the Argos can't afford to go 6 back of Saskatchewan. That's their schedule. The Argos, to make the playoffs, have to win the 2 games against Winnipeg, have to win tonight, and maybe squeeze out another against Memphis and or the back-to-back against Calgary. We'll be in Calgary with the Argos next Saturday night. So must win is the way both teams describe this one. Albert Turner. And he was met by Brannon as he tried the inside. Turner with the touchdown pass for Saskatchewan. Just 1 on the play. Make it 2nd and 9. Fourth quarter has not been good for Saskatchewan this year. Outscored 105-43. We've talked about the Argos' woes in the fourth quarter till last week in San Antonio. And there's a catch right in front of the Saskatchewan bench. Donald Narcisse, Mr. Reliable, right at the first down stick.
Narco does a great job this time, pressing himself, pushing that corner up the field, convincing him. Then he makes a little spin and comes back, even though he has to come back for the ball, even though it does look like he may have trapped that ball. They give him the catch. Good, solid blocking up front. Tough front four of Toronto, getting nowhere near Warren Jones.
Here's the give to Mims, straight up the middle. Powers his way over midfield and close to another first down. By the way, the first down catch by Donald Narcisse was his 7th of the game and kept a little milestone, another milestone, 600 in his career. And so Narcisse in very elite company there. Elgard all-time #1, and now Donald Narcisse up there amongst the bench, tied now with Terry Evanson. Mims on 2nd and a yard. The hard runner has another first down to the 50.
Chris, let's go back and look at the book somewhere and try to figure out when's the last time you've seen it get to the fourth quarter with 10 minutes to go and Ray Elgard hasn't caught a pass in a ball game. And I can't remember more than maybe 1 pass being thrown at him through the course of the night. I'm not so sure, but you know, for a young quarterback, and as in Taylor, to be a starting quarterback, you've got to use your vision. And Warren Jones, I said, you've got to use your vision and start seeing your receivers and go to the reliable guys.
This is Elgard time, and over the middle, he has the other slot back. Farthing can't hang on.
Farthing incomplete.
And Farthing thinks about that one. Well, you know, in talking to Elgard, he wasn't bothered by the fact he got off to a slow start statistically this year. Let's see if Farthing should have had that one.
Absolutely should have had it. The ball hit him right in the bread basket.
Yeah, Eaglin jarred him a bit, and he couldn't squeeze it. But Elgard said what frustrated him most early in the year was the fact that the offense wasn't moving and they weren't trying to utilize him. See if they go to him now, 2nd and 10. Jones looking for Narcisse, and Donald Narcisse can't pull it in. It's out of bounds. Joe Miro was on Narcisse.
Well, what makes it really tough, and as a defender, it makes it really easy. Here's the stop-and-go route. Good move, good explosion by Narcisse, but an excellent recovery by Joe Miro to cover up on that coverage. But what it is, when you only have one go-to guy with 5 receivers out there, it makes it pretty easy to defend. He's not throwing this ball, mixing it up across the field enough to really open up a guy like Narcisse if he's going to be the go-to guy.
Yeah, it looked like he was looking for his old roommate from the get-go on that play.
Well, in that case, Ray Elgart better move in with him.
Here's Cunningham stepping out at the 20-yard line. Well, the Argos clinging to a 4-point lead. We're down to 9:06 to play.
Holding on to a 4-point lead with 9 minutes to go at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. It's final now. The Stallions 42-32 over Shreveport. Shreveport came back to make it interesting. San Antonio 35-7 over the Cats in the fourth quarter. That one is all but decided, Chris.
A couple of lopsided losses in a row for the Tiger Cats. Bombed in BC last week, and Marvin Graves in now for Kent Austin, who's been banged up tonight, unable to continue. Graves, first down call goes to Mike Clements, and pinball has a first down, and now down at the 32. He'll move the yardsticks, and now has 91 yards on the game. 15th carry for pinball. The numbers on Ken Austin tonight: 15 of 28, 155 yards, a touchdown pass, an interception. But Rogers and Jurison have knocked him out. Graves trying to erase the memory of last week's disastrous 7 minutes in San Antonio. Mike Clements ever closer to the century mark in this one. At the 37-yard line, pinball has 4 more. Tim Edwards.
Little slow getting up there, and he's really grabbing his elbow, walking around, not even to the defensive huddle yet.
There's nobody left, pinball. You got to keep going at this stage.
You're looking around and say, you looking at me? Guys said, don't look at me. Get back out there, Michael.
Now 2nd and 6 now for Marvin Graves. And they took too long. They'll have to march it back 5. Graves last week 2 for 8, 3 interceptions, caught for a safety in that blitz by San Antonio's defense in the first 7 minutes.
And they were tough. 2 of them went back.
Violation. Toronto number 7. Still 2nd down.
Those 2 interceptions went back for touchdowns, and if that's going to break the confidence of a young quarterback, it surely did, because he just did not respond afterwards. And you can see some of the frustration on Coach Obilovich's face. Standing on the sideline, trying to figure out where do you go from here.
They can hang on with Graves at the helm. San Antonio will be a memory. Here's Climby, and it's incomplete. And the Argos offense has stalled in this second half. And with the injuries and with the lack of production, it may be up to the defense.
One of the guys that Coach Obilovich singled out was John Terry as far as being the most consistent offensive lineman, grading out week in and week out, doing a good job on Bobby Jurison.
Terry Baker punting to Ulmer and Randall. Low snap. Not a great kick. And it bounced and hit Jakovic. Ulmer lost the football. But the flag for no yards is against Toronto. Argos continue to lead, but Saskatchewan with just under 7 minutes to change that.
Well, now from the Alamo Dome, the latest in San Antonio's scoring barrage is a Myron Wise 12-yard touchdown catch from Dave Archer. This made possible by Tommy Smith's interception of Anthony Calvillo's pass. Smith's second pick of the game. By my count now, Chris, Ticat quarterbacks have been picked off 5 times in San Antonio, and it's 42-7 Texans.
And we want transcripts of that speech Case Stevenson made to the San Antonio defense prior to the Argo game. Put the onus on them to start creating turnovers, and they've done nothing but ever since. Robert Mims, short gain, maybe a yard.
This is what happened on that last punt, just at the last minute. Jason Jakovic, the ball hits. He just was not able to locate it in the air, and it bounced back up toward him, hit him in the chest. You can see the flag coming out of the official's pocket right there. They called the no yards, gave Saskatchewan an additional 10 yards on the play.
Well, this is crunch time now. Running down to 6 minutes to go. 2nd and 9, Saskatchewan. And Jones looking for Elgard, and it bounced in front of the big receiver. And it's 3rd down. And they are, well, are they going to be in Ridgeway territory? It would be a 51-yarder. Do you pin Toronto deep?
Take a look. Ray Elgard has the pattern wide open. He's running. He has plenty of room and cushion between he and the defender. The ball's just underthrown. Warren Jones had plenty of time standing in the pocket to try to deliver that ball with a little more accuracy.
And Ridgeway is on. He's made 6 from over 50 this year.
There's a little confusion going on out there. There's a lot of guys on the field right now.
I think they may decide to punt this football instead. They're going to take the time count. David's ready to kick the field goal, which would get them within 1. You know what, Kep? If I'm the coach, though, I'm pinning the Argos back, especially with the injuries they have right now on offense.
Time count violation. Saskatchewan number 13. Still 3rd down.
I think it's a good call, Chris. As you just said, take the time count. Ridgeway's longest field goal has been 55 yards. He's got a great leg, that's fine. But just in case, he's hit 5 out of 8 from 50 yards plus. So it's well within his range to do so. But as you said, get them backed up. The defense is playing pretty good. Their offense is not being consistent. And then get better field position.
Matic hung that one up, and it goes out of bounds at the 20. Now, if Ridgeway misses the field goal, the Argos have the football at the 50-yard line, and that's why they elected to do that. But I'll tell you what, Ray Yock wanted more than a 30-yard punt on the play.
I think he expected a lot more. Brent Matic has not had a stellar night kicking the ball.
So it's still a 4-point lead.
Good look there in the black shirt. That's Jim Daly, the defensive coordinator, trying to get his guys pumped up out there to make something big happen, get a turnover, or at least 2 and out, put them in a punting situation.
Greg Marshall also exhorting the defense as Marvin Graves rolls out on the run and throws that one well over the head of Jock Climby. Tell you what, Marvin had a little blocking in front of him there, but chose to throw the football. He does have the ability to take off with it.
Well, and I think this would be a perfect time. You've got a little misdirection, some counter stuff. You've got a young quarterback with fresh legs coming into the game. You've got a tired defense that's been out there for 4 quarters already. Sprint them out, make them chase you, and buy more time. In that case, he had plenty of blocking in front of him. He could have easily picked up a good 10 or 12 yards downfield, but he did make that decision to throw the ball.
Big play for the Saskatchewan D now. Graves calling the signals on 2nd and 10. Stands in and throws behind Ainsworth Morgan, who's come into the game as the replacement for Paul Mazzotti. 2 and out, the Argos offense. That's been their story in the second half. And OB looking at the clock, but it's not ticking down that fast. Lots of time for Saskatchewan left. 4:39. Terry Baker's last punt was 28 yards.
Another kicker tonight that has not had a good night. And this return team of Saskatchewan should get good field position.
Brian Randall waiting. High snap. Not a great punt. And Ulmer at midfield has a seam. One-man Baker. Got enough of him to bring him down at the 25. Saskatchewan in business. And the Rider fans sensing now that their team is poised to gain the lead. Just 34 yards on the punt by Baker, who saved the touchdown after the 29-yard return.
The ultimate sin on a short punt, you let it hit the turf. First, you got a good bounce. Ulmer does an excellent job of finding the seam. Now he makes the cut back inside. And anytime you get tackled by the kicker going off the sideline, the teammate's going to give you a hard time. But Saskatchewan gains great field position.
Jerome Younger back in. Pass for Boyko. They're saying no good. I'm not sure that hit the turf. They're saying that's a trap. Jermaine Younger back in at middle linebacker.
Chris, I still come back to a time right now when you're in a crunch, 3:50 left in the game, you're a few points behind, and you got a guy named Ray Elgard on your receiving corps. You're not throwing the ball to him. Somebody's got to give you head a shake. You got to get the ball to this guy. He is Mr. Clutch.
4 receivers left, 2 to the right, empty backfield, and a completion. That's a big one to Albert Turner. First down, Roughriders.
Looking for a first down.
And the ball now spotted at the 13-yard line.
That was the big thing we talked about earlier. Second and long situations against the Toronto defense. Coach Abilovich very upset. Most of the teams have been converting those second and long.
Here's a quick hitter over the middle, and Donald Narcisse is inside the 5. He bounced off the first hit. Catch number 601. And we'll be back after this. Crunch time on the sidelines. Those two coaches say it all. 2:54 to go. Ray Yach and Bob Obilovich. Ray Yach won his first Coach of the Year award in the CFL back in 1970. Won a Grey Cup with Mr. Kepley in 75. OB a Grey Cup winner in 83. But right now, the focus, the last 3 minutes, the Argos clinging to a 4-point lead.
This will be tough sledding inside.
Second and short. Mims has the first down close to the goal line. And it'll be first and goal from the 1. Saskatchewan 2-0 with Robert Mims as the tailback this year, trying to go 3-0.
Saskatchewan doing a great job of sealing off the corner. No containment out there. Mims is being able to run to the corner. The guys that's making the tackle are coming inside out, defensive backs. The advantage goes to the running back.
Well, Rider fans know what happened in Winnipeg a couple of weeks ago. First and goal from the 1. Mims didn't get there. And did he give up the football? Bob Obilovich sees his defense celebrating, but
I think they're just celebrating a great defensive play as he hits the hole, tries to go up over top, but Younger's not going to have anything to do with it. Takes his legs out from under him and makes him topsy-turvy, and he still doesn't break the plane of the goal line.
They're going to dig in. Cantor and Cummins and Brannon up against the big old line of Saskatchewan. Jones sneaking. And touchdown. Saw the Riders signal, but we were going to wait until the officials did, and clearly the plane was broken. Although the Argos aren't buying it.
Well, looked like the head linesman over there from way on the far side of the field made the touchdown call. A couple of the officials that were right in the pile, no one threw their hands up, and maybe that's where their argument was.
So the Saskatchewan Roughriders are back in front. It's 22-20. And Ridgeway will try and make it a 3-point lead. So the Argos trail by a field goal with 2:08 to go. And tempers getting short. Well, here we go, Kep. Toronto Argonauts have lost 7 straight, and they have to come up with some offense. There's Jones, and I think clearly he's in.
From that angle, it looks like he really does have a good opportunity of breaking the line. Gets behind big Mike Anderson and Michelle Lammy. Scott Hendrickson.
Well, there's the umpire, Dave Hutton, and he's right on top of it.
Now take a look. Here's where Mims comes in, spikes the ball, and the big guy comes and says, I'll take that. I don't like that. Robert Mims has been a welcome addition tonight, being able to rush the ball, and it has allowed Warren Jones a little opportunity to buy a little extra time in his passing game.
Argos need something to happen here, and Jimmy Cunningham will try and make it. Cunningham bursts out! And that's a huge tackle by Dave Van Bellingham. One more stride, and Cunningham would have been pulling away. 33 yards on the return after the 59-yard kickoff. And Dave Van Bellingham saved a big Cunningham return.
Comes back to the crease. All he needs is just a little bit of a light. And when he does, he starts to accelerate. Great pursuit speed by Dave Van Bellingham just to get his hands on some cloth and get the speedy Jimmy Cunningham down on the turf.
Now Jurison and the Saskatchewan D dig in. Here comes the reverse. Jimmy Cunningham trying to get outside. Now cut it back. Short gain to the 50-yard line. That's just 2. Dale Joseph wasn't fooled. The Argos' last 4 possessions, only 1 first down, and OB has seen his team have to punt it away all 4 times. 2nd and 8, 1:48 left, and the clock's running.
Second and long. Let's see if now the tables can be turned and Toronto's able to convert one of those second and long situations.
Flags down and they don't get it away.
Make it second and longer.
Wow.
2 crucial time count violations against the young quarterback Marvin Graves.
Looked like Graves trying to change the play at the line, but there was no time to do it.
Well, there's a lot of things out there that go through his mind, obviously. You can see Ken Austin signaling in something to Marvin. Cut, maybe talking about the coverage, looking for the corner to be up.
Timeout violation. Toronto number 7. Loss of down. 3rd down.
The last 3 minutes of the ball game. Loss of down. Crucial situation. Crucial error.
I don't think the Argos, well, now they are going to send on the punt team. Here's the final from San Antonio. Well, for a moment there, it looked like Obilovich was going to gamble on 3rd down. And now the punt team comes in.
Well, Chris,
by declining the penalty, it's 3rd down. It would have been 3rd and 8.
And I think maybe
you got to go 3rd and 8.
You got to go for 3rd and 8 right now. It doesn't matter if you haven't been that productive to give yourself an opportunity. Saskatchewan has had the ability to establish the line of scrimmage and rushing the ball with Mims. They can run out 1 minute and 20 seconds.
A decent punt by Baker. Ulmer flattened at the 20 by Benoit, and a flag down as well. Terry Baker, a 41-yard punt.
I think we're going to see Provo with a penalty of an illegal block.
Well,
illegal block. Saskatchewan number 1. 1st down.
After the punt and the penalty, Obilovich's decision isn't quite as bad. There's the penalty. Ainsworth Morgan taken down by the rookie Provo. So it's simple. The defense has to force Saskatchewan to punt here, 2 and out.
I like that. Then the defense could be very easy to say. It would be simple. All the offense had to do was go out and score a couple of first downs, kick the field goal, tie the ball game.
Robert Mims to the 15 has 5. I know a defense in Edmonton back in the early 80s, the late 70s that would rise to this.
There were times that even back in those days, they would start running the ball with Neil Lumsden and Angelo Santucci and Jim Germany and some guys like that. We would go out there and say, look, Warren Moon throws the ball for 800,000 yards a season. Go out there and make a couple of first downs. Let's get this ball game over with.
Under a minute to go now. 2nd and 5. Ray Elgard open, has the catch in the first down. Mr. Kepley, he finally heard you.
I was trying to think, when were you going to go to the big guy? Mr. Clutch, I guess They had it built up to be just a little more dramatic than I had earlier. The same route that they missed on the other side of the field, the post corner. Ray Elgard does a good job against Maurice Kelly. And look at the protection that big front line, Dan Payne, Hendrickson, Anderson, Lammy, and Short give to Warren Jones.
22 yards for Elgard, and Saskatchewan's going to run it down. Mims crashing over the 45, has 8. And Saskatchewan's going to be able to run it out here and post a huge win for Ray Yock at Skydome. Robert Mims now within 1 of the century mark for the night. 18 carries, 99 yards. Had 78 in his first game of the year, 75 in the second. And now they're just going to run it down as much as they can before giving it to Mims. And that should be 100. 23 seconds to play. I don't think Mims got to the first down marker.
I think his momentum, I think his momentum carried him forward.
Well, then it is over now. At the 48, it is a first down, 23 seconds to play, and they'll just be able to take a knee here. Couple of plays.
8 in a row for the Toronto Argonauts, and it's tough at that time to hold your head up.
Well, we've been saying must-win situation for a few weeks, but there was no glossing over this one. This was a must. They're going to fall a full 3 games back of Saskatchewan. 6 points, and the Roughriders will celebrate a win they needed. Well, this is it. Roughriders on a bit of a roll, have won 4 of 5. A lot of people think it should be 5 in a row, but tonight they celebrate a 23-20 win. Pavel Bilovich is 0-4, and his Argonauts are an astounding 2-11.
But in some defense of Coach Bilovich, when you get the kind of injuries that he has had down there, it has been tough to field anybody. Let's go down to Scott.
Cap, here's the victorious coach tonight, Ray Yock. Ray, how big was this win?
It was a big win for us. You know, it was a heck of a win for us. So we'll take it. I think guys played awful hard. Of course, when Kent went out, I think that didn't help them at all. But certainly our guys played hard. I think we deserved to win.
You didn't shoot the lights up, but you did enough to win. You'll take it.
Yeah, we did. We did. You know, play on the road, you do what you can, and as long as you win the ball game, that's what's important.
All right, Ray. Thanks for your time. Best of luck in the tough schedule, because it is tough from now on.
Yeah, it's going to get tougher as we go, but hopefully we'll get it 1 or 2 along the way. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Ray. So Saskatchewan pulls off a victory at Skydome tonight. They're still alive in the skirmish for a playoff race, while the Argos are just about done. 23-20, the final.
Canadian Tire, Canada's tire store, has
The Green Riders claim victory at the Dome tonight, and this is a huge one because it keeps them squarely in the playoff race in the North Division, prominent in the victory. Saskatchewan quarterback Warren Jones, who directed a couple of scoring touchdown drives, they were the difference in this game, finished one himself, and that one to Albert Turner, 23 yards in the second quarter. And Warren, I asked Ray this. It's a simple question and befitting of you too. How big was this win?
This was a huge win for us. It's a playoff game for us, and we needed that to keep our position on Winnipeg, and we just have to take this game and build for next week against Baltimore.
Now, what a strange one it was in a way, because you didn't exactly post big numbers here, but you did enough.
Well, I guess numbers don't always tell the story. The victory that does, and we're just happy with a win, and we're all right.
Boy, it gets tough from here on in, doesn't it? 2 games against Calgary and 2 against Baltimore.
Yeah, we have a tough schedule at the end, but we can just hang together and win a couple that we don't suppose we win, we'll be all right.
And Warren, I'm guessing that your situation in Saskatchewan is much more preferable to what it was in Winnipeg at the start of the season.
Well, I can say on that is, I'm happy where I am, and, that's cool.
All right, Warren, thanks for your time.
All right, thank you.
So Saskatchewan wins at Skydome tonight by 3 points to stay in the playoff race.
their playoff hopes and deals another blow to the Argonauts. The second half was dominated by Saskatchewan's defense, and they did everything, including knocking Ken Austin out of the game.
Well, they knocked him out of the game. They beat him up. They beat up the receivers. They knocked them out of the game. And here's the shot that Ken Austin went down on. He gets sandwiched between Rogers and Bobby Jurison, and it just takes and twists that back of his, who was always very bruised as it was coming into this game. But the big thing, too, also, their offense stepped up. Saskatchewan's offense, they got a rushing game in. They controlled the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Robert Mims had 100 yards rushing, and that was a big key because most of it came in the second half, while the Argonauts had just 63 total yards in the second half. But you know what? Go back to the first half. Think about the 2 missed field goals where the snap wasn't good, the placement wasn't there. Baker missed 2. They ended up with singles on those, and if they were field goals, the Argos would have won by 1.
Absolutely.
Woulda, shoulda, coulda.
Yeah, woulda, shoulda, coulda kind of thing. And then a couple of big penalties. Pass interference calls on both cases allowed, drives to continue.
A lot more to mull over for Toronto fans in another disappointing night. Scott?
Chris, here's what happened on this night in Week 12 of the CFL season. Baltimore confirms the playoff spot with a win over Shreveport. In San Antonio, the Texans beat Hamilton by 38. The Cats dropped to 7-6. Here at Skydome, the Roughriders and Argos both had the win, and the Riders did to stay in the playoff race in the CFL's North Division. Tomorrow night at Sunday Night Racing, we'll have the Portuguese Grand Prix from Estoril. Don't forget to join us tomorrow for the Stampeders encounter with the Bombers in Winnipeg. And so the Roughriders are on their way home with 2 more points. Thanks for watching, and good night from Skydome in Toronto.
CBC Sports, home of the champions.